Yes, map that you can explore in your. Okay. Yeah, this video has been making the rounds, so to speak. This video has been making the rounds. And it's one of those videos of just like, this is the only the video on this person's channel. So, that'd be interesting. Had to go through an hour before I could go around grabbing teleports and killing stuff. Okay, that's a good chunk of time. I guess an hour is not that bad, but it is a good chunk of time. But if there's scenes you can't skip, that's just stupid. If you're going to include skip scene anyway. Every one of her moves gets a damage boost and healing punches too, so with her movement, see, so you can just bully the entire team. Damn. Yeah, I guess you have that just in general, huh? They probably have to tone down the damage depending how good the healing is. Okay, here it is. I found it. Yeah, this is the video. Apparently it's making rounds on social media right now. So I'm gonna watch it. Let's do a little react. I feel like I haven't reacted to like a long video in a while since we watched that Raiden one a couple years back. Gives the arena without needing the exposition. Yeah. Yeah, I feel like if you story skip, just give us the map, right? Like, I just don't understand why they would lock the map, just in general. Okay. Healing isn't even that crazy. It's actually more about the damage. Really? Okay. 10% of the time I play of the map new story has been, and even that's like 34% of the pre-tier progress. Okay. I get that. Alright, let's watch. Candy Bug. Was Genshin always this weird and bad? Oh my gosh. Weird and bad. Let's see. I'm gonna pause this. Hey King, what's up? Oh.
Before we begin.
Oh. Is this positioned well? Here we go. Alright, here we go.
Please be aware that this video contains very heavy spoilers for Genshin Impact up to version 6.4, also known as Luna 5, the current game version as of recording.
Also hope because I see Lolly, the
Mizuki,
Mizuki, sad.
these quests yet, and
Oh,
you are
pity
still
where you
interested in doing so, please watch this at your own risk. Also, I would like to say that while I play Genshin frequently, I'm certainly not a lore expert. It's also worth pointing out that Genshin lore only gets more confusing and convoluted as time goes on, so that might factor in as well. I might get stuff wrong.
That's fair, I will say. Genshin lore does get a bit convoluted as we go. I think the main story stuff isn't that bad.
Let me just start by saying that Genshin Impact is one of my favorite games. I know that there's a lot to be said about Genshin and that Genshin fans are kind of a meme. There's a lot of valid critiques to be thrown Genshin's way. For example, like many gacha games, they use a very
just have the areas, most of the mats, ascension flowers, sets are not farmable. Everything's being acquired without touching the map. Okay.
And I would argue
Hey, was that the fake revenue chart? Wait, that's really funny. It is, bro. Do you guys remember this?
Games, they use a very predatory business model, and Hoyoverse makes millions of dollars off of FOMO and by fostering.
This chart is only revenue from China and is a couple years behind. It's also fake, by the way. I don't know if people remember this. I believe it was Risley that Risley's revenue didn't match up to something or whatever. Anyway, the point is that it was what do we use now? Freaking Gacha Rev, because Gacha Rev follows. Oh my gosh, what is the thing that they follow? Now I'm forgetting. Gacha revenue. They follow some data. What was the data? Oh my gosh, why am I forgetting right now? Well, anyway, they follow like a reputable data source. Gacha revenue follows a reputable data source, and that data source didn't line up with the Genshin Lab chart. And so people are just like, wait, why isn't this lining up? And then it turned out that the person that made the Genshin Lab thing, like intentionally like under like reported or over reported for certain characters just so their favorites would be like higher up. It was just really funny. Sensor Tower, that's what it was. Sensor Tower. Yeah, Sensor Tower. Sensor Tower is like super reputable, and like the data from this was different than Sensor Tower, and like people were just like, wait, why is that? And I think Genshin Lab is down now, right? Or at least people don't use it anymore. Yeah, everybody uses Gacha Rev now. No, it's still there. Oh, it's just a tier list thing now. I don't think they have. Yeah, they don't have revenue charts anymore. Here we go. Yeah, they don't have revenue charts anymore. They just have tier lists. Maybe we'll look at this one day. Yeah, database. Nah. Banners. They show up prices? Yeah, no. Yeah, they got hella called out on that. It's
During
funny that they
people's
included that.
gambling addictions. And I would argue Genshin is actually worse than a lot of other Hoyo games too because
Mhm,
it's not as generous. From my understanding, other
mhm,
games from this company have made up for a lot of Genshin's greed by giving away
mhm.
more free characters and by making it easier to obtain materials to level them up. Meanwhile,
It's a give and take, right? I think it's a give and take when it comes to like, oh, is Genshin like free to play versus like other games? Because like, yeah, on one hand, let me go back a little bit. On one hand, right? I love the Aloy. On one hand, you do get like free 5 stars like Horatio and Archer, and we're about to get like Gilgamesh, right? And that's cool, right? But at the same time, in Genshin, you can use older characters, right? Like let me do the where's the Genshin helper guide? Here we go. Like all of these characters, like a good 80% of them or even more are like viable and stuff like that. Like you can even go down to like oldest, can I do like oldest? Yeah. Release date. Here we go. Like a lot of these characters, Shinkyu you can still use. Shunling, yup. Venti just got buffed. Sucrose, yup. Razor, yup. Chi Chi just got buffed. Noelle, you can use her. Ningguang, probably not. Mona, yup. Lisa, no. Klee, yup. Kuching, probably not. Kaya, probably not. Jean, definitely. Travelers, yup. Fischl, yup. Diluc, Chongyun, Bennett, held. Like the best character in the game, right? Like all these are like 1.0 characters and you can still use them. Versus like if I went to like Star Rail characters, right? If I went to like Star Rail characters and we looked at this list, right? Set it to the version, right? Okay, here we go. let's do the same thing we just did, right? Arlen, hell no. Asta, not really. Bailu, maybe. Bronya, yes. Clara, no. Don Hong, 4 star, no. Gapard, no. Herta, nah, not too bad. Himiko, no. Oh, yeah, Himiko's kind of in the middle. Hook, definitely not. Jing Yuan, XD. March 7th, no. Natasha, no. Pella, maybe. Kinky, not really, no. Shampoo, no. Zila, pretty good right now. And we can keep going, right? But the main point is that like you could say in one breath that like, oh, other games give more free 5 stars, but Genshin has its strength in like, oh, these old characters that you still have, you could still use a lot of them, right? And I think that is a really good thing. And I just feel like we need to think about this like in totality, right? I think things can't be in like isolation of just like, oh, other games give more free 5 stars and so it's better. It's just like, well, hold on, because there's other factors to consider here. Ningguang is still I Lunar Crystallize. That's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah, yeah. Ningguang ain't too special, but you can lift her up with some Lunar Crystallize. And you can't really do that for like Arlen, for example. I don't think you could lift up Arlen with like, I don't know, the Elation characters. I don't know if like Elation or something or whatever is lifting up Arlen or anything like that. Just a thought. Just a thought.
characters and by making it easier to
Yeah,
obtain
going until I
materials
confirm the
to
Nightmare
level
Nest.
them up.
Flowers you can buy from the
Meanwhile, Genshin refuses to adapt even after over 5 years of updates. The resin cap is still only at 200
That's valid.
with no resin overflow system.
That's valid.
And the weapon and talent ascension materials are still only available for a few days each week, which is an outdated system that serves absolutely
Is she gonna tell
no
us about
purpose.
the
But despite all of those flaws,
Wait, okay, she did talk about it. How old is this video? 13 days. Okay, this is wrong. Not in the way that she said it. So, for people who don't know, first I believe
200 with no
2 weeks,
overflow
I think, of a
system
banner
and
change. Let me see if it's available. It should be available right now in Genshin. I should have pulled up Genshin actually. It should be available now. I believe for the first 2 weeks, every single domain is just open. Now, why isn't it just open permanently, like forever? Like I don't know. Like it definitely should be. But I do think if you're gonna be like, oh hey, Genshin's using this outdated system where like the talent materials aren't available every day, and it's like, well, technically they are available during the most critical periods that you would be grinding. Might as well just open them all permanent. No, I agree with you. 100 million bajillion %. It's stupid that it's even still limited like a little bit, right? Like it might as well just open them up permanently because like it's like the most critical time periods they are open. Like, yeah, let me double check here. Load it up. Now they're all available more than they're not, and it's just ridiculous. Yeah, I agree. I think it's stupid. Yeah, I do think it's stupid. I do believe. Here we go. Okay, maybe not this week. Or at least the featured characters, right? Isn't the featured characters things open no matter what, or something like that? Every Sunday and for 2 weeks after the banner drop. Yeah, it's every Sunday and then 2 weeks after the banner drops. I'm trying to. It's tough because I don't have the current character. Tuesday, Friday, Friday, Sunday. Yeah, I think it's the featured banner characters. Let me see. Monday, Tuesday, Sunday. Not available. Yeah. Okay, yeah. So every Sunday everything is open. And then 2 weeks after the banner drops, the current banner characters have their things available. I can't look at it right now just because I don't have the featured characters. But yeah, every featured character and then is available, and then every Sunday just everything is available. But yeah, it's still stupid, right? It's still stupid, and just make them available every single day. But I'm just adding the addendum of just like, technically this is not necessarily true. But I don't know, it's still gonna get fixed.
Ascension materials are still only available for a few days each week, which is an outdated system that serves absolutely no purpose. But despite all of those flaws, Genshin kind of
just open the floodgates, right?
I had never played a game like this before, meaning a gacha game. I didn't know how the pity system worked. I did a 10 pull whenever I had fates, and I didn't save them at all because I wasn't keeping up with any upcoming banners or anything. And
that just happens by the nature of it, right?
On both intertwined and acquaint fates because that seemed like the financially responsible thing to do. I shudder to think about it even now. But when I first started back in October of 2020,
that's just live and learn type of things, right?
Banner,
that's live and learn.
Mattered because Genshin was pretty magical early on. Not only was it special because back then you really didn't have to worry about power creep. You could pretty much build any character you wanted if you liked them. But there was this feeling of newness. You could pretty much build any character you wanted.
Literally 3 of these 4 characters are like bare minimum like B tier and up. B and A. Miko's S right now, and Shinkyu's A. Miko's S, Shinkyu's A, Klee is like B, maybe B+. Chongyun sucks, but like, it's so funny that like, man, this is really funny. It's funny that she's phrasing this of just like, oh, look at these bad characters I used to use back in the day. And it's like, wait, most of these characters are still really good. It's just really funny to me. It's like, I love the dissonance of just like, oh yeah, these characters are terrible. Look at these characters I used to play as. And it's like, yeah, these characters are really good. These characters are like pretty damn good, dude. I just think that's very funny. This was before Hexarai? 2 weeks? No, it's before Supercharge, about Hexarai. Klee was still there. Like, bare minimum, you had Durin Alice Klee, which was really good. And Shinkyu, of course, really good. Yeah, Miko, like, by the time this video was made, like, Miko being here is, like, that makes sense. But bare minimum, yeah, Klee was still improved upon. Because that's definitely Hexarai. 13 days.
Wanted if you liked them.
Oh, you meant the team, like, as of the time. Yeah. 6.5 was Hexarai already? Oh, yeah. This is only 2 weeks old. This video. Yeah, this video is only 2 weeks old. Yeah, Hexarai was definitely existed. Alice was definitely up 2 weeks ago, for sure.
But there was this feeling of newness that came with starting out in 1.0. This open world was laid out before you with 2 beautifully designed nations.
Beautiful.
The music was, and still is, so gorgeous and immersive. Playing with headphones and just listening to the soundtrack while running around with your favorite characters was so lovely. There were little puzzles to solve and stories to tell, all backdropped by a beautiful landscape.
That's still a thing.
The story told by the Archon quests was relatively simple, but the characters were interesting and so lovable that they gave the quests life in their own way.
Agree.
And then there were events like the first Lantern Rite and the first Wind Bloom. Don't get me wrong, I think there have been some really good Lantern Rites in recent years. The one featuring Gaming comes to mind, but I really don't think that the sheer innocent joy that came with these events early on will ever be matched in the future.
That's called nostalgia, ladies and gentlemen. That's called nostalgia. When you experience something for the first time, it's gonna feel a lot more special than when you've experienced the same thing just a little bit differently. That is just called pure nostalgia. Because like when you reminisce on something, it's gonna seem like it was a lot better, or just blatantly just the first time you experience something, right? Like a Lantern Rite, for example, you've never experienced anything like it. It's brand new. And it's funny that this argument is made because in another realm of thinking, you also have the thing of just like, so Genshin changed the game, and one of the things that Genshin changed is repeating events. Genshin set the standard that repeating events, even if you repeat an event, it needs to be slightly different. So it's like, okay, we'll have lantern rites, but like each lantern rite is different, right? Each story is different. The mini games are slightly different. Maybe they'll repeat mini games, maybe they'll repeat like story, like environments, like lantern rite or whatever, right? But it's always slightly different. It's always a little bit more fresh. Now, I do agree that like sometimes, I mean, yeah, you're never gonna, by nature of something being nostalgic and being new and fresh, like, yeah, you are never gonna get the experience that you did the first time. Like, never. That's not, literally, that's not physically possible. It's not physically possible that you're gonna get the same experience. Um, but it's like, yeah, that's just nostalgia. Like, congratulations, we've explained nostalgia. Lantern Rite kind of suffers from Gen 1 Pokemon syndrome, in my opinion. Yeah, like, people will always be like, oh, Gen 1 is the best gen, right? But, like, for many people, the best gen is the whatever gen you grew up with. To me, it's Gen 3. I think Gen 3 is the best gen. Like, no matter what, Fire Red and Emerald, those are the best two games. And, like, Gen 3 Pokemon are some of my favorite Pokemon, right? But it doesn't mean I can't acknowledge that, like, oh, Gen 5 is really good, or, like, Gen 9 is really good. And like, yeah, Gen 1 is really nice or whatever, right? And it's just like, yeah, like Gen 1 will always get the most nostalgia, always get the most boon because it's the first one. It's the one people spent like their early time with, and like, again, it never existed before Pokemon. Like, it kind of is like Tamagotchi and stuff like that, but like, Pokemon was like a phenomenon when it first came out, and Gen 1 will be the most special. Same thing with Lantern, right? Like, first time it came out, it's just gonna be a lot more special in the beginning.
And plus, I think that
Pearl,
Genshin has kind of forgotten about Windbloom. But like,
Windbloom, that's valid. I mean, but what's the complaint there? Like, you know what I
I
mean?
really don't think that the sheer innocent joy that came with these events early on will ever be matched in the future. And plus, I think that Genshin has kind of forgotten about.
But like, okay, real quick, what's the argument here? Like, if are you trying to make the argument of just like, I want Windbloom to come back multiple times, but you just complained about the fact that like, oh hey, Lantern Rite is not as special as the first time. So it's like, well, what do you want? Because it's just like, if we do the more Lantern Rite style, then the complaint's gonna be like, oh, we're never gonna match that first Lantern Rite. And it's like, okay, with Windbloom, let's not do Windbloom every time because we can't match that first Windbloom, and let's do something different with these events around this time period. Is March, whatever events they did in let's see, actually, hold on, let me back this up. Genshin event history. Let's back this up with a source. Let's back this up with a source. What was the event in March for this year? Is this 2026? Yeah, 2026. Upcoming list of events, event history. Here we go. Welcome Moon. Yeah, let's see what happened in March for the Welcome Moon. October, December, 2025, 2026, January, February, March. Let's see, Sightseeing with Friends. Which one was this one? Operation Stronghold. Sightseeing with Friends. What's the main one? Luna 5? Luna 5. Ah, yeah, this was the one with Varka and stuff. You still use Gen 1 all the time now, yeah. What was the main event in this one? I'm trying to remember. Mm. Was there a main event? Or what yeah, what was the main event in this one? Just seeing Varka again and his story. Story quest, new events. Here we go. It might be the sightseeing with friends. Homeward caught the wind. Take part Phantasmal Gift Star Omen. I guess it was this one, yeah. So it was like a Melazine focused event. With the pictures and stuff like that. I do remember this event. Was this the main event? Yeah. So it's the Melazine story. Okay. Yeah. So I guess that's the idea, right? Is that like instead of doing Windbloom again, you do like these type of events. Yeah, I don't know. It's just I guess my point is that like I'm just wondering like what do you want? 'Cause it's just like on one hand we could do the same event over and over again and we can complain that like oh it's never as good as the first one. Or on the other hand, it's like oh let's do different type of events every time. But it's like oh but what happened to this type of event? Like what happened to my Windbloom? What happened to my Lantern, right? It feels like a lose-lose, I guess.
Bloom, but like the cutscenes were so beautiful. Getting to see what all of these characters in Liyue and Mondstadt were up to during these times of year. I mean, that cutscene of all the characters walking around Mondstadt together spawned so much shipping, and I was absolutely there for it, just like everybody else was. Following this, we had Inazuma, Sumeru, and Fontaine. Again, all beautiful nations with so much potential for exploration. They encouraged you to look in every nook and cranny. There's so much lore to be found that you might never see it all unless you peruse the Genshin Wiki. One of my favorite examples of all of the records and notes you can find are about Ildodore, and they're scattered throughout Sumeru. Discovering how immensely evil
Dodore
he was
is so funny.
made me so excited to see what they would do
Look out for Dodore
like in this story. And we will get to that. But even if the story occasionally got dull, and I know a lot of people struggled with Inazuma, believe me, I have problems with it too. I know I love
Inazuma, but there's up and downs.
Character I liked. When Inazuma was boring me to death in the middle, or when it was busy underdeveloping Raiden A, I could at least
agree. That's valid.
Kazuha sometimes, who is still one of my favorite characters in the game to this day.
I love Raiden, but
a gacha game relies
the story did not do well for
her.
No
other type of game does. If you want people to pull for them, they have to appeal. And most of them did. They had beautiful designs and interesting personalities that sealed the deal. So yes, Genshin is one of my favorite games. But I'm also its biggest hater. And I know what you're going to say.
Okay.
You're just nostalgic.
The real biggest hater for Genshin is Wuthering Wave fans. Not checking. What I missed, we're just watching this video talking about Genshin.
But I have proof. I mean, why else would I make a whole video essay on an unestablished YouTube channel if I didn't have proof? So, was Genshin always this weird and bad?
Weird and bad is crazy, by the way.
And let me tell you why.
Okay. Wait, what did she say? The music was so freaking loud.
Was Genshin always
it wasn't?
Weird and bad? No, it wasn't.
Okay, they said it wasn't.
Why?
Where it all went wrong.
So, when we talk about bad,
is it gonna be Natlan hate again?
Elephant in the room, Natlan. In case you're unfamiliar, Genshin bases its
people just. I'm gonna say it right now before it happens. Genshin fans just like mystery stories more than shonen stories, and that's fine, right? Like I think it's completely fine to be like we prefer mystery stories to shonen, but like that just means that you just don't like shonen. Like that's okay. There's nothing wrong with like not liking a shonen story, or whatever, right? But yeah, I don't know. We'll see what they say about it. But here we go.
Real-world cultures, in terms of visual inspiration, the names of the characters, and the nation's customs. Mondstadt is based largely on Germany, Liyue on China, Inazuma on Japan, and so on. Natlan, similarly to Sumeru, is based on multiple real-world cultures, including Mesoamerican societies, Polynesian cultures, and the cultures of African peoples. It's hard to pin down what they were thinking when they picked out all of these places, each so different to represent just one nation in the game. I'm certainly not the person to listen to on if this
Mondstadt's the same way. Mondstadt's the same way. Even though they said Mondstadt's mostly like German, it actually has a couple of different European stuffs. But people don't harp on it too much.
I will say I do find it odd that the region's based on parts of the world where historically many black and brown people have lived are a mishmash of many different cultures, and that the characters are whitewashed versions of these people.
Okay, well, hold on. Okay, we talked about this a little bit earlier. I won't get it into deeply, but we actually delved deep into this one. The Auroran one is just a coincidence. That Auroran is not have any relation to the god that's noted here, and that's because there was a mistranslation when they were like translating his, not a mistranslation, but just a misconception with the translation of his name. The translation that we got in like the American version is just a similar name to this deity, but he's not this deity. Like that is not, no, he is not supposed to be this deity at all. But I won't get into that too deep.
To say the least. For many other
I will say I do think this argument is valid. I've talked about that argument to like 50 billion bajillion times, but I think it's 100% fair because it's just like, hey, if you're gonna use a culture of like a land or an area, like a part of that culture is its people, right? Because the people made the culture, so it is important to include them. But at the end of the day, you know, it's not that area of the world. It's a fictional world, and then they have created this fictional world. Maybe they took cultural inspirations and things like that, and they should include the people, but at the end of the day, it is like a fictional world. But That's just my 2 cents on that.
Since too,
I think that argument is valid of just like wanting to include more peoples and stuff.
At least in the United States. I'm not really sure how other parts of the world reacted to it. It's easy to see why though, because it's the same reasons that I didn't like Natlan. The landscapes are fine, but aesthetically, a lot of Natlan doesn't mesh well with existing aesthetics of the game. And one of the major problems people had
you know the motorcycle stuff again?
Characters' access to modern technology.
Okay, it's one person that makes it. I think the main like problem that I have when people talk about this argument, and I know for a fact they're not going to mention it. I know for a fact they're not going to mention it because nobody that makes this argument ever makes this argument with good intentions. They always make this argument with just like, oh, well, this doesn't fit in the world, while Sumeru has like literally light energy magic that creates buildings, or like we have the Ruin Guard since day one, or we have the Raiden Shogun puppet that is a fully functioning thinking robot, right? Or we have Skara, who's a fully functioning thinking robot. Like, like this argument has never worked, and it's always so stupid. I get it, right? I get it in the sense of freaking like, oh, hey, motorcycles are weird when they have like living in tents and like huts and things like that. It's like, yes, I get that. But the game does explain that, and it's supposed to be a little jarring, right? It's supposed to be a little weird because of the way Natlan is. And the key factors are the fact that A, phlogiston is like the perfect resource ever, but you can't take it out of Natlan. So that's why we don't see it in other places, and not many people know how to use it, and that's why there's not that many of it, and only the playable characters have it because it's one person making it. Only Shilonen can make this, the motorcycles and things like that, like the real like quote unquote modern tech, which still meshes well because of the designs. One person is making this, guys. It is one singular soul, only Shilonen. It's so annoying when people say this argument because it's just like, there is one person making this stuff. She doesn't make it very often, and she only makes it for specific people. And there is literally conversations where Vamwika's talking about, oh, can you make this thing? And Shilonen's just like, what are you talking about? What is this? Like a motor? Or she calls it like a flame strider, I think. She's like, what is a flame strider? I don't know how to do this. Of course, Shilonen will make it because she's a prodigy and she's amazing. But that's the point, is just like Shilonen is like the only person that can make it. She's like, how the heck does this even work? How do I make something like this? And again, it's only possible with phlogiston, which can only be in Natlan. Anyway.
And concepts like motorcycles, flying guns, rollerblades, and DJ sets.
It's all made by one person. It's funny too because the one person that can make it is in 2 of those shots. Shilonen's in 2 of these. It's one person making this. Only one singular person in the entire region is making this stuff. Why is that so hard to comprehend? I don't understand it.
I'm not necessarily mad at the idea of having more modern tech in Natlan, but the problems lie
Samira has the
in
internet.
Execution. First, Natlan made a point to set up an aesthetic style for Natlanese technology, like that within the ancient Sacred Mountain area, but then they only used it in that area.
Yes, because that technology was made by the dragon people, and people don't know how to use the technology. The one person that really knows how to use it is Shilonen, and Shilonen has a style when she makes something. That's why all the tech that they talked about is all the tech made by one person. The motorcycle is made by one person. The gun is made by one person. The skates and the DJ and the person who is using them is on it is made by one person. Only one person can make this tech.
Even necessarily mad at the idea of having more modern tech in Natlan, but the problems lie more in the
Listen, if she mentions it, I'll retreat. I swear. If she mentions that Shilonen made it and they still complain, I'll give it up. I'll retreat.
Style for Natlanese technology, like that within the ancient Sacred Mountain area, but then they only used it in that area. If Mawika's motorcycle or Shilonen's DJ set looked anything like this, and not like sleek, modern variations of those objects, maybe they wouldn't have felt so out of place.
But it's Shilonen's style. Again, all the tech you're talking about that you have problems with is made by one person who has a very unique style. That is her style. It's made by just her. Now, it'd be one thing if this technology was all across Natlan and different characters had it and it was made by different characters. Okay, fine. I think that's a fair argument then it's weird. But no, it's made by one person. It's literally made by a singular person.
And another problem with the tech is that no one else in Natlan, other than the playable characters, use it at all.
Because it's made by one person!
Natlanese people rollerblading or driving vehicles, they probably wouldn't feel so out of place if
because it's made by her. It's only made by her. I'm crashing out. It's only made by a singular entity, a singular person. That's why it's so out of place, because it's made by one person. That's the point. It's only made by her. She's a prodigy. She's OP busted. She's broken. She Lonen is just that good.
other people in the 6 tribes had access to this stuff. There is perhaps no location in Natlan that is so out of place as the Easy Breeze Holiday Resort. I did love the lore that this location provided for Bennett, but everything else about it is so ass, dude. It genuinely feels like a different game to walk.
Why are they in a
around
band?
this
It's
resort.
fun.
There's a huge slide in the shape of a Caholosaurus, a dark ride a la Disneyland, a field that looks like a fucking Wii Sports golf course.
It's fun.
A music festival area with a dance-off stage. I cannot stress enough how immersion breaking it is to explore this area. Have there been silly summer-themed areas in the past? Yes, but none
What I have
of them
problems with
have
this one.
ever had an aesthetic on par with this one. I mean, the Golden Apple Archipelago just looks like
Wait,
it was
what do you
silly
mean? What?
stress enough themed areas in the past. Yes,
Because it's a block world?
but none of them have ever had an aesthetic on par with this one.
What's wrong with the aesthetic? Wait, I don't get this argument. What's wrong with this aesthetic compared to Block World? I feel like if you're gonna complain about that, yeah, you're gonna complain about Block World. Wait, what? It's because Block World is magical? Like, that's the only difference? I don't get that complaint. That's my video.
Breaking it is to explore this area. Have there been silly summer-themed areas in the past? Yes, but none of them have ever had an aesthetic on par with this one. I mean, the Golden Apple Archipelago just looks like it was taken straight out of Mondstadt or Liyue in terms of design, while still looking very fantastic.
Shilonen is not an entity? Yeah, she is. An entity is just a thing.
Of incredible power like Alice. Unfortunately, the visual aspects aren't Natlan's only faults.
An entity is just anything that exists. Wait, what are you talking about? Shilonen is definitely an entity. Yeah, we're all entities. Wait, what are you talking about?
Each nation in Tibet has a divine ideal that is represented by the Archon.
An entity is just anything that exists.
To 6 ideals of 7: freedom, contracts, eternity, wisdom, justice, and war. Most of these, at least to me, represent a good idea of what a divine ideal should be. Something that a god is supposed to uphold in their nation. Sometimes upholding
knowledge, you could be an entity unknown to mankind. Yeah. An entity is just anything that exists.
Sealed her borders and stole the ability to use elemental magic from her people, all for the sake of keeping Inazuma the same.
Wait, hold on. Wait, they're complaining about Raiden. I need to see if this is correct.
In their nation. Sometimes upholding the ideal leads to conflict in the region. For example, in her upholding of eternity, Raiden Shogun sealed her borders and stole the ability to use elemental magic from her people, all for the sake of keeping Inazuma the same for all time. At the same time, Raiden herself represents the concept of eternity. She locks herself away to practice hundreds of years of meditation and uses undying puppets of herself to exact her will on the people of her nation. It's honestly very upsetting the way that they rushed through her arc so much, because I think she would have made for such a compelling character otherwise.
She is. It's just we don't know much of her story.
With regards to her divine ideal, which is war. How does she represent war? Well, she's fighting a war against the Abyss, like everybody else in Tibet. Yeah, maybe they have it worse than other nations, but still.
Maybe they have it worse. Constantly they're attacked and killed by the Abyss, and they constantly have to move their homelands. Maybe they have it worse. Brother, the Abyss in Natland literally can take the appearance of literal dragons. Wait, where's that Natland final boss? Oh wait, no, I have Genshin pulled up. Maybe they have it. That's so crazy. I love the phrasing there. Just like, maybe they have it little worse. Maybe they have it a little bit worse. And then literally if you go to Natland and then if you go here, you can literally see like one of the ancient dragons of history being replicated by the Abyss. Like literally one of the strongest entities in Teyvat, like, is just being replicated by the Abyss. Also, the way that you access that is a literal grave site that you can read, and you can read about the fact that, hey, even though you saved all these people, 2,000 people still died because you just couldn't save them all. Yeah, they have it a little bit worse, though. They got it a little bit worse. They got it a little bit worse. Just a little bit worse. Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
When the war ends, which it does at the end of the Archon quest. It's not like Mawika is some battle-crazed maniac. At most, she's just kind of thoughtless and reckless in her actions. Do you see how war?
You have a less head count than me? Oh, really?
Ideal and
It's a
least
LARPer
of all with
argument.
Malika as its representative. Also, it's
Look
a
at those
nation
numbers.
war made up of 6 different factions, and yet there's
Yeah.
absolutely no conflict between them. It really just doesn't.
Why would there be a conflict between them? What? Because what? Because of the way war exists? Huh? Wait, this is such a, pardon my French, this is such a dumb argument. What? Why would they fight each other when they have to fight the abyss? What? What? Huh? That's not how nations work. What? I'm so confused right now.
Make any sense. This is why I personally always thought it would be cool if the Pyro Archon was a villain to her people.
What
Maybe
the
she
hell?
makes them fight each other, gladiator style.
Brother, what is this?
And then maybe we would have a better rebellion storyline than Inazuma with an Archon that's
What?
completely irredeemable. Because we certainly
Brother,
know that
what
the
is
Pyro
this?
Archon is gonna get redeemed in some way if she's ever going to become playable. We will also touch on that in a later section.
Okay, why are you complaining about that? We've known from day zero that they hate Celestia and Celestia sucks. Like people I've always hated Celestia. That's always been a thing. I'll talk about that later, I guess, when I talk about it. That's just a tournament that they hold. Yeah, they held a tournament. Yeah, they did fight with each other in a tournament style. Like that is emblematic of war. Yeah. Wait, that really did happen. Wait, that's a good point.
Sense. This is why I personally always thought it would be cool if the Pyro Archon was a villain to her people. Maybe she makes
This is one of those things of just like, I'm so happy fans don't make the stories type thing. If you guys have ever heard that statement, Natlan would have been terrible if Natlan was about like what, a fight club, like a huge fight club with the different like factions fighting each other, and they didn't want to fight each other, and so they fight Mavuika. That's what this person wanted. That like of just like, see, Lolly is like, oh, I have to be in the tournament because I'm forced to by my Archon, and like Mulani's the same way, and like we had to figure out something so they won't fight each other, and we fight Mavuika instead. That'd be so bad. Like that'd be terrible. Like I'm so glad fans don't write the story. Holy crap! I'm so happy fans don't write the story. It's like she wants them to be Neanderthals. Yeah, right?
Fight each other, gladiator style, for her own energy.
Like like literally, the story and concept of Natlan is literally like, you are living in a worn-torn world where everything is coming at you. The abyss is ruthless and relentless, especially in Natlan, because Natlan's like zone zero when it comes to the abyss. It's like you are living in this land, and so what you have to do is you have to rely on your community, right? You have to rely on each of your tribes, and then each of the tribes rely on each other. And then each of the tribes rely on the Archon, and that's why they have the things that they do. Like they have the right that, like, what is it? I think they call it the right of resurrection, where like the warriors, fight each other in a tournament, which is what they want. But apparently they don't want it in that way. They fight each other in a tournament to get their best warriors to fight and calm the abyss down. Like that is literally war. The people are okay. Oh my god. Okay, hold on. Let me go back actually. That's such a good point that I just thought about right now. I need to see that whole war thing.
It's not like Mavuika is some battle-crazed maniac. At most, she's just kind of thoughtless and reckless in her action.
Okay, whatever. I just stay where I'm at. Anyway, I'm just gonna say the point. The point is like, okay, well, how is Natlan? The point that they're making is, how is Natlan a region of war when it seems like their Archon like hates war and things like that? It's just like, no, it's not that the Archon is like, what's the word I'm thinking about right now? Okay, I guess this is another way to put it. I'm sure this person has no problem with like Zhongli. Literally at the end of Zhongli's quest, he makes one final contract and does away with it and leaves. Like, how does that like further push the idea of just like, oh, he loves like contracts and things like that, when he literally makes a final contract? And I'm sure that person would have no problem with Zhongli. It's just like, Mavuika doesn't like love war. She's just, it's a big aspect of her and her nation's, like her character and the nation itself, because they are steeped in war. It's not that they love war and are obsessed with it. No, their entire life and in the entirety of who they are is war. The area is at war, their land is at war, and she's good at war. But it doesn't mean that she is in love with
Ironic,
war.
she's the only Archon who is actually a human and would likely have the most flaws out of any of them. The thing is, Mawika is very flawed.
Mawika's
She
flaws is
extremely
fair.
irresponsible and brash, even when it will put the lives of her entire nation at stake. Her nation is at war with the Abyss, and she's like, well, best thing I can do for you guys now is go to sleep for 500 years and hope and pray that the heroes I need will appear to me when I need them.
What? Okay, I don't. It's definitely not in that. That's definitely reducing what actually happened. Let me see what this is a wiki thingy. Intelligent and calculating. Mavika came up with a plan to eradicate the abyss invasion threatening the island, driven by her desire to secure a peaceful future for her people. The ambitious plan came up with a great personal cost. 500 years, she sacrificed her life in the sacred flame. To be born in the present day with the sole purpose of realizing her mission, Malvika is thrown into a willingness to relinquish anything dear to her, including cherished possessions accumulating over the years in her relentless pursuit of sacred. Yeah, I forget what it is because it's been so long since I did the Archon quest, but there is a specific reason she comes to this time period. And yeah, also this is not her flaw. Yeah, no, this is literally the good, this is the better plan that she has. Like there is a reason that she specifically comes back to this time period. It's just been so long that I forget the specific reason, but there is a specific reason she comes to this time period. It's not that like, oh, she just hopes that whatever's ready is ready when she comes to this time period. It's like, no, there is a specific reason why she comes to this time period. Our flaws is never having proper opposition. Even Kapitana wasn't that. I agree with that. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what this
500 years and hope and pray that the heroes I need will appear to me when I need them. What? That is crazy of you.
And it's also not what happened.
Tries to make me feel bad for her for doing this. The game, instead of pointing out how terrible and risky this plan is, just focuses on the fact that Mawika had to say goodbye to her family in order to put this plan into action. Dog, I do not care. The writing doesn't focus at all on what's important here. It just makes her out to be the perfect Archon who's good at everything and refuses to fail. There were no memorable parts of that.
No, her problems aren't that she refuses to fail. The problem is that she never fails. I think she maybe genuinely skipped the story. Probably. Yeah, like her flaw. Yeah, no, that's not her flaw. Like she definitely has a flaw in terms of like perfection in the terms of just like like you said, she meets no opposition and her plan. The problem is she's too good at her plan. Like that's the problem. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like the real problem. The real problem is that she's too good. I think the way this person is describing it is just like, oh, she's just going there recklessly and doesn't care. It's the opposite. Is that she's going in there with such a meticulous and well thought out plan that it works perfectly. That her flaws are not hers, but the writers. Yeah, I agree with that. Wait, let me hear they phrase it again.
All on what's important here. It just makes her out to be the perfect Archon who's good at everything and refuses to fail. There were no.
Yeah, it's not refuses to fail. It's that failure never comes to her, right? It's not a fault of Malvika. It's the fault of like there had to be some type of opposition and seeing how she reacted to that. I think that's what the story needed. But Malvika herself is perfectly fine. Malvika herself made this great plan and got everything ready and went in to fight this crazy threat on her own. Like thankfully the traveler is there and things like that. But it's just like she had the plan. She had the stuff ready to go and she was ready to execute it and executed it well. It's just that the things around her didn't react to that and try to stop her. I think that's more of a flaw of the story than is a flaw of Malvika. Like I think Malvika's a perfectly good character. She just needed something where she failed a little bit, which is how the story failed her.
Of that quest for me, except for maybe the final battle, and it's not even like the characters here can make up for this nation's incredibly
that's crazy to
battle. Me. No memorable parts of that quest for me, except for maybe the final battle.
That's crazy to me. How do you? This is crazy to me. So they're saying there's nothing they remember about this quest except for the final battle. I genuinely, if you genuinely do not remember the scene where you are flying on that air balloon and trying to save different citizens during all the abyssal attacks, if you don't remember that, I think you just want to hate the story. I genuinely think if you do not remember that, you just wanted to hate the story. I don't think anybody that experienced that could ever forget that. Especially in a game like Genshin, where kind of like, especially like death of certain characters is like not taken seriously, but it's more like kind of like what's a good word? Maybe like ham-fisted or something. Anyway, the point I'm trying to make is that like that was such a let me pull it up right here. That's what's the low fire. Natlan. I was like war choices. Yeah, like war choices. Mm-hmm. Abyss count. Yeah, it's 5.1. Yeah, it's 5.1 when you like go across the land on the hot air balloon, like saving different people from the abyss. And like you're not gonna save everybody. Like you're genuinely not gonna save everybody. You're not gonna save every creature. And like you genuinely have to make that decision. And you see everybody on the different parts of the map. Like if you don't remember this, I think you just want to hate the quest. Like genuinely, I think you just want to hate the quest. Like even if you don't like the quest or you want to criticize it, like that's fine, but don't be like, this is the only thing I remembered. Well, this like crazy thing that everybody who played this quest should remember. And even like, listen, if you didn't remember it, that's fine. I'm not saying that like you literally have to, but the fact that they're saying that this is the only thing they remembered, I don't think they gave it a chance. Is I guess my main point that I'm making right now is it feels like they didn't even try to give it a chance. They just thought they just had their implications, had their assumptions about this quest, and they just knew they weren't gonna like it, and then they just kind of like went through the motions and like played it. And which is like, if you did that, that's fine, right? But don't it just feels, I guess I'm trying to say, what's the word I'm thinking of? It just feels ungenuine, right? It just feels ungenuine. It feels like they're trying to make the argument of like nothing happened in that land except for that final fight, because the final fight was like cool and flashy. When it's like, definitely these things happened, and if you didn't pay attention to them, it just feels like you just didn't want to pay attention.
Battle. And it's not even like the characters here can make up for this nation's incredibly boring and stupid story. For me, all of them
That's
were
crazy,
so
by the way.
nothing.
That's crazy to me. I don't know how you say they're nothing when like the stuff happened with Kachina, the stuff that happened with Chaska's sister Kukui. Like I just don't like Mualani as well. Like both Mualani and Kachina's stories are good. Kanich, I'll give it to you, right? Kanich is literally a nothing burger character. He doesn't do anything.
Fail. There were no memorable parts of that quest for me, except for.
Did Kachina die? Yes, she literally dies. We have to save her.
Characters here can make up for
she literally dies, and we have to save her.
Boring and stupid story. For me, all of them were so nothing.
Auroron's here or there.
It blows my mind that so many of y'all are shipping
Yeah,
these MFs together when they barely have interesting relationships with each other at all. I feel like all of their personalities could be explained in one word. Mualani is bubbly. Kanich is standoffish. Kachina is insecure. Veresa, she eats a lot. Oh, and Mawika. What can be said?
Yeah, but you could do that with every Genshin character ever. Like, what are we talking about here? Like, what is the argument that we're making here? Like, it's just such a dumb argument. You can make that with like every single character. Like every single Genshin character is made like that on purpose because, you know, it helps with their sellability. Like, I just don't understand this argument. Because you could literally make that with every single character. Sarah is obsessed with her work and obsessed with the Raiden Shogun. Freaking like Chongyun has issues with his like yin yang, but he still wants to be like steadfast with his work. Like Noelle is overworked. Ganyu is overworked. Like, why are we isolating these Natlan characters with these traits that like, if you want to say it's a problem in Genshin writing in general, that's fine. Right? Like I don't have any problem with that at all. But to isolate that of just like, oh, only these Natlan characters are like these one-note characters, like, bro, no, every single character in Genshin Impact is this kind of like, this character can be explained with one sentence. That is how they're made.
Touched on. She's good at everything. She's the perfect Archon, and even her reckless plan for saving her nation isn't questioned by anyone that matters or treated by the game as risky at all, even though it is. And in the end, she just defeats the Abyss with the power of friendship. It reminds me of that TikTok where they had the cutscene with all the
Which, again, going back to the thing, is just like, hey, if you don't like shonen stories, that's fine. It's a shonen story. To me, I thought it was super hype. I loved it. I was very into it. I thought it was great because I like shonen stories. I like shonen stories and I thought this was cool. If you don't like it, I think that's fine. But like, it's very dismissive.
Heroes side by side
unintentionally
from My Little Pony Equestria Girls. The writers go out of their way to make Mawika seem like the coolest person ever, when in reality she has like no personality. Like, can we talk about how her trailer was just this cringe ass music video where all of the nation heroes are.
I thought this was cool. If you didn't like it, I think that's valid.
Oh my God.
That's
It's
valid.
like literally unbearable to watch. And it's not like any of the other
Come on.
characters do anything to move the plot forward. This region doesn't even know how to treat its lore relevant characters as such. Auroran and Yan-san are the Natlan heroes from the Masters of the Nightwind and the Collective of Plenty, respectively, but I guess they're not important enough to be the focuses of the Tribal Chronicles.
We're talking about Tribal Chronicles. Anyway, Aurora got a lot of focus. I don't know what the argument is here, especially with the whole thing with Capitano and stuff like that. So I'm not sure what that is. Yansan, up and down. Yansan got a whole personal quest, but I think it's an event quest, where she's trying to help this sick person with a disease they got from the abyss. That's kind of her personal quest. It is affected by like the voice acting and things like that. Like they had stuff. Whether or not you thought that was enough, like that's fair.
Yan-san are the Natlan heroes from the Masters of the Nightwind and the Collective of Plenty, respectively.
But their stuff is more like, well, Jansen's stuff was more like
Chronicles. Instead, those
personal, I guess.
Seat Lali and Varesa, the latter of which we hadn't even met during the Natlan Archon quest. She was literally invented just to take Yan-san's place.
Wait, Varasa's just a side character. Wait, what's the problem with Varasa?
Focuses of the Tribal Chronicles. Instead, those honors are given to Seat Lali and Varesa, the latter of which
Tribal Chronicles? I mean, they're just Tribal Chronicles. I don't...
She was literally invented just to take Yansan's place.
I don't know about that.
I wonder why that is. In any case,
alright, buddy.
Actions are driven by
buddy.
and the Traveler, so none of these characters feel important at all. They're just accessories to... Again, the power.
I think that's fair. Like having the heroes there in the final battle, they could have just done that. I think this is somewhat valid. The way that they're saying it is, one way or another. But in terms of like, hey, they should have been there. Yeah, I think that's fair. I don't feel I need to create the Genshin story, but have fun playing it. I think it's fair to critique it, but like, let's make critiques that are not like, let's make critiques that are like fair, you know, and are like, you know, unbiased or, what am I trying to say? Let's make critiques that can like hold some water here. Like I think this critique is fair, right? Of just like, hey, the hero should be there in the final fight. I think, okay, right. There's two different versions of this, right? It's like you want to complain, because I did complain about it earlier. You want to complain about like, oh, it's cheesy that all the heroes are rallying together and you have this power of friendship, right? I don't think that's a real criticism. That's like you personally don't like this storytelling like avenue of just like the characters getting together using the power of friendship to overcome trials. Like that's not a real criticism. But this criticism I think is fair of just like, hey, if you're gonna have like the whole like people getting together, have them actually be there, right? Have them actually be there during the final battle instead of like what is essentially cheerleaders, right? I think that's fair, right?
Are driven by
that's very fair.
Mawika and the Traveler.
Well, let's get more of the second type of argument, not more of the first type.
At all. They're just accessories to, again, the power of friendship storyline. But like I said, that obviously
and there's nothing wrong. I gotta say, what is wrong with the power of friendship storyline? Tell me, somebody tell me what is wrong with the power of friendship storyline. If you don't like it, if you don't think it's cheesy, like sure, whatever. There's nothing wrong with it. You can still tell that story, right? The hero's journey is like the most told story of all time, but people still tell the hero's journey and it still works perfectly fine. And I think power of friendship stories are the exact same thing. It's just like it's just a way to tell a story. And I don't think it's that big of a deal.
Unless these characters feel like they have meaningful relationships with each other, which they don't. Needless to say, I did not pull for any of the Natlan characters, even though their combat mechanics are in the meta, right behind lunar reactions. The only one I really wanted, and only just recently got on Inefa's rerun, was the 4-star character Aoife, and that's mostly because he's a gorgeous cowboy. On the topic of Natlan characters being in the meta, Natlan is also when the shill started getting really bad. Soon enough, the Abyss and other endgame modes were tailor-made for Night Soul mechanics, with some bosses that are nearly impossible to beat without Natlan characters in the team. It just started a trend that only gets worse with time.
People hate the power of friendship but love hype moments. People hate the power of friendship but love hype moments and aura like soul leveling JJK make it make sense. It's just the it's just the flavor that people like right now. In how many years hype aura and hype moments and aura is gonna also lose its value and gonna be seen as like the same thing of just like it's just hype moments and aura. Like there's some people that think of like that right now. It's just like they're soulless essentially. It's just like soulless like popcorn, right? It's like popcorn content of just like you just consume, but there's no actually like good tangible stuff behind there. But for now, it's just a popular thing. That's just really popular because it's very flashy and cool and stuff. But yeah, they're the same thing. They're really the same thing. No Cry, which is literally one of Genshin's best arcs of all time. So here
It's
we go.
hard to forget how hyped people were when the first trailer for the new area of Teyvat, Nodcry, was released.
Cry.
Nodcry is a subnation of Snezhnaya, the last of the 7 nations we were supposed to visit in our search for our lost twin.
These same enjoyers
So
hate
naturally,
SAO and
the
does the
lore
same
is getting
thing.
pretty
It's true.
intense here. But the reaction to
No
seeing
Cry.
so many lore-relevant characters in one trailer was immense. We got first glimpses of 2 members of the Hexen Circle, Alice and Nicole, the Grand Master of the Knights of Favonius, Varka, who we'd only heard about in passing until this point, and 2 Fatui Harbingers that hadn't appeared on screen before, Sandrone and Columbina. Every look we got was very fleeting, and it was hard to glean any info from this trailer alone, but people were still so excited. Imagine what Nodcry has in store if there's so many important characters here, ones that we've only heard whispers about prior. Well, Nodcry is better than Notlan by a long shot, but would you hate me if I said that this also disappointed me?
No, because that's what you think, but I think I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. I think what it is at the end of the day is that, how do I say this in a way that makes sense? I think there's a lot of people that play Genshin because they've been playing it for a long time and they're just tired of it. But they feel like they've invested so much time into it, they force themselves to play it. I think a lot of people play Genshin that way, and they shouldn't. Like, to be honest with you, if you're tired of something or like you're not enjoying something as much anymore, like, you can stop. It's okay. You can stop playing it. Like, you can leave. It's 100% fine. And you probably should. You probably should. She's mixing up her lore and opinion a lot. Yeah. I think that's a big thing of just like, to build off of what I just said, I think a lot of people personally don't feel as attached to Genshin as they did because it's not as fresh and new anymore. But the problem is they feel like they need to justify how they feel. And so they'll try to justify it by saying the story's not as good or the characters are not as good. And it just blinds you so much, right? It just blinds you so much because you'll look at a story like Nodcry, which is literally one of the best stories they've ever told. It seamlessly mixes character stories with like actual story, has fantastic lore, great scenes, some of the best flashbacks in Genshin Impact history. Literally some of the best flashbacks in Genshin Impact history. It's literally some of the most perfect Genshin storytelling, and the pacing, which is what Hoyo is usually terrible at, is phenomenally good. Like, seeing it as seeing somebody be like, "Hey, I didn't really enjoy this as much." It's just like, that's fine. But maybe the reason you're not enjoying it as much is because you're tired of Genshin. And I don't think people realize that. I think people push and force themselves to play this game when they've playing it for 4, 5, 6 years and they're just tired of it. And it's like, okay, man, like, you can be tired of it and you can go. It's okay. Maybe come back a little bit later when you feel it's going to be a lot more fresh, and maybe you'll feel better about it. But I genuinely really do think a lot of people, and I think this person is going to be one of them, where they're just tired of Genshin. They've been playing it for so long that, like, you're going to start to feel dull about it. If you have pizza every single day, then it's going to get tiring. Even if you love pizza, like, you're going to get tired of it if you have the same dish. And it's like, it's fine to step away. It's fine to step away, but don't try to justify you not personally enjoying it with like, hey, this has gotten worse compared to what it was before. Soon we'll be able to say 6 to 7 is true. 100% people need to realize that they're burned out. Perfect. That's the word, burned out. Thank you so much. Yeah. People are burned out of Genshin because they've been constantly playing it almost every single day for 6 years. And you're burnt out. And that's okay. You're not going to enjoy something as much if you're burnt out than when you're not burnt out. And that's fine, right? You don't have to play. You don't gotta be here. It's okay. And am I saying as well that like these stories are like perfect or like the best thing ever, and like, oh, if you don't enjoy it then like you're a fool and you just don't understand? No, I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is that, especially if we're talking about like Nodcry, like, it is genuinely some of the best storytelling ever in comparison to the stories that they had before. If you compare them off the just just again basic stuff, right? If you compare them off the basic stuff of pacing, Noctri has better pacing than a lot of the early quests. Maybe not Mondstadt, but especially like Lie. If we're gonna talk about pacing, especially Lie, especially Inazuma, especially Sumeru, especially Fontaine. People hype up Fontaine a lot, right? But guess what? Fortress of Meropide was absolute butt. And there's no Fortress of Meropide in Noctri at all. There is no downside of like Fortress of Meropide in Noctri, but nobody's gonna talk about like that for Fontaine because it's like you enjoyed it and it was nostalgic to you and like you enjoyed it at the time, right? I think was like 4 years into something and we get to Fontaine, it's gonna feel good, but like 2 more years down the line, it's not gonna feel as good. So it's like these people who are burnt out are sharing their criticisms about this game, but what they're really sharing is like, hey, I'm burnt out, but I feel I need to justify why I'm burnt out. You can just be burnt out and it's okay. It's okay. To be fair, these games condition you to play all the time. Valid, yes. Like, and I do think like that's what makes it interesting. Of just like and that's a good point. And yeah, I'm not also putting the complete onus on the person because yes, it is the fault of Hoyoverse 2. It is the fault of Genshin 2 because yes, they are made in the way you need to play every day. You need to play every week if you want these primo gems, if you want this whatever, what have you. Yes, these games 100% condition you to play every single day, and there is a downside to that, right? I think there's upsides and downsides to everything. The upsides of telling people to play every day is you'll get dedicated players and you get people playing every day. But the downside of that is you force people to get burnout, right? The downside of that is that you force people to have burnout. So yeah, I do think Hoyoverse also plays a role in this. I don't think Hoyoverse and I don't think the Genshin the Genshin team as a totality. I don't think the Genshin team as a whole is completely innocent in this like when people have these opinions is just like they played a role 100%. They played a role in this because they want people to play every single day. Like no matter how good your product is, no matter how great your game is, telling people to play a game for 6 years straight, they're gonna get burnt out and then they're gonna start to being disingenuous, which I do think is what's happening here.
Don't get me wrong, Nodcry in a lot of ways was kind of a positive return to form for Genshin. First of all, these characters actually feel like they know each other past, teehee, we're all best buddies. Aino and Anefa are so sweet, Varka and Flynn's are hilarious together, and Nefer and Lauma have some of the craziest Yuri subtext since Beidou
Oh my
and
gosh.
Eblong. These characters feel more real as a result of
I'm gonna say Kavi and I'll hate
relationships
them,
with
but
each
I
other.
guess that's not
I
necessarily
could
Yuri.
enumerate more about them based on how they interact with others. Crazy, right? It made for a more interesting quest too, one that I could more easily become invested in. Nodcry did a lot of stuff right, but the true problem with the region unfortunately falls on the back of...
Is it gonna be Columbina? Is it if it's gonna be Columbina? Is it are we literally going to like I thought Columbina was gonna be the Dark Angel and she was gonna be a real hellspawn angel that it was gonna be a creepypasta and she was supposed Columbina was supposed to be a murder god angel thing, multiple wings and eyeballs everywhere. I swear.
Character for me, one that was so highly anticipated. Not
It's gonna be
just by me,
Columbina. I
but by
freaking know it.
so many people in this fandom, but she delivered so little.
Bro.
Columbina.
Bro, dude. And to say she delivered so little is like so disingenuous. It's so disingenuous. And like, okay, if you don't like Columbina, that's fine. But don't be like, oh, Columbina disappointed me because she didn't do this imaginary thing that I made up in my headcanon. Like, that's crazy. That is insane. Like, what do you mean? Like this character that you headcanon does not exist. That's what it's called, a headcanon. It didn't exist, bro. Like, what do you mean?
Oh, I know there's a lot of Columbina lovers out there, but I'm sorry. There are
and
so
the
many.
And the craziest thing, bro, I didn't even care a lick about Columbina before we saw her in Noctri. I didn't even care a little bit about it. Like the whole like creepy thing, I guess, was kind of neat. But like once we got to meet her and like her story, which is like so unique, and seeing her genuinely like make bonds with these characters for this first time is so good, and it's so fantastic, and it's so sweet, and it's so like memorable. And like to see it be like, oh, but I wanted Columbina to be like this cool murder god death angel, right? And she had like all these wings with little eyes on them, and like, whoa, she was gonna be so creepy. Like, brother, like it's fine if you think it sucks that that didn't happen, but don't pretend that that was gonna happen. That's my thing. Don't pretend that it was gonna happen and people took that away from you. It's like it was never gonna happen. It was never gonna happen. She's gonna bring up the lollipop. Oh, 100% she's gonna bring up the lollipop. Not even the devs knew the direction they were gonna take with the characters back in the Lazo. They just created a basis and wrote around it. Yes, exactly. I think, oh my gosh. Like, here's the thing. Like, are people insane? Like, okay, that is such a good point. Let me even like pull up the Lazo. Not Lasso. Lazo. Oh, not Lozo. Genshin Lazo. There we go. Lazo. Like, yeah, like, bro, do you genuinely think, like, I know there's a lot, like, Hoyoverse does really good work, right? And they have like a good writing team and a bunch of them. Do people genuinely think that back in the year of our Lord 2022, they had every single story quest and every single thing ready for any of these characters? No, bro. They just have personalities and then that's it. Like, bro, do you really think that when this quest was made, when we saw these designs, we knew that like Pantalone was gonna do what he did in Nodcry, Dottore was gonna do what he did, not only in Nodcry and Sumeru, Arlecchino, etc., etc., etc. No, bro, they did not have all that planned out. And if you think they did, you're insane. Literally, all they had is base personalities, and then they work from there, right? I like from this cutscene you can see like, oh, let's make Sandrone the tsundere, let's make Columbina like a little weird and socially inept, right? What is it, Pantalone is like obsessed with like money and is very shrewd. Dottore is like really curious and like weird scientist. Like, these personality things they've had since day one, 100%, but they did not have any story stuff, or like definitely not the full story stuff ready to go by this. Like, they did not have that, bro. Like, do you really think that they plan for every single character? Like, no, they have broad plot details and like broad personality traits for these characters, and then they build from there. That's how you make a story. That's literally how you make a story.
Reasons I cannot
Here we
stand
go.
this woman, and part of it is because she's a complete disappointment. You might be familiar with the way that people thought Columbina was going to be a
Yeah, thought is called headcanon. It's called it didn't exist. You guys made it up.
creepy character, maybe leaning into the biblically accurate angel aesthetic.
Bro, why wasn't Columbina the super cool, biblically accurate angel with like 10,000 eyes and she could like kill everybody?
There was a super
Bro.
popular theory that Columbina was a member of the canonical angel race, so this would make sense in a way. This creepy aesthetic for Columbina.
You're gonna criticize the direction based on implications, then compare the Fontaine trailer to what we got? Right. Like, why is nobody talking about like how Arlecchino is genuinely supposed to be a villain and then like just wasn't?
Also explored in a beautiful animation for Hoyo Fair called Stereo
Gosh,
Heaven
bro.
by Kieru. The imagery is so spooky and it uses like analog horror elements.
Bro, I wanted her to be an analog
And if you
horror
haven't seen it,
character, bro. Why
you
wasn't
should
she
watch
like
it after
that?
this. Oh my god, it's amazing. And this is
Because, and here, you want to know the real question? You want to know why Columbina wasn't like this? Because it wouldn't make sense. This wouldn't make sense, and it wouldn't do anything with the story that they're trying to tell with like the Moon Sisters and everything regarding that. Why, like, where does this lead? Like, beyond just like, oh, that's cool. Like, genuinely, I am genuinely asking people that wanted the whole like Columbina be a creepy angel person thing. Where does that lead? Where does that lead, and where does that connect with the story? Like, I want a genuine answer for that beyond just like, oh, it would be cool. Like, really, really genuinely, how does that connect to the Moon Sisters? How does that connect to what we're going to do in Snezhnaya coming up? How does that connect to, like, Thelindis or, like, anything regarding that? Like, the Sinners, how does that connect to the Sinners at all? Like, how? Like, where was the story genuinely going to go? Right? Where was the story going to go? That the Traveler slays Columbina because she's this cryptic, ancient, like, horror god or whatever, and then, like, we just leave and go from there, and, like, the moon goddess, the real moon, the Trilune goddess is going to be some other NPC, and she was threatened by Columbina? Is that where we're going to go? Like, actually think this out. Like, no, of course they don't actually think this out. They just want this cool, weird headcanon to happen and don't think about, like, what the story would actually go. People are dumb and cannot think beyond my headcanon was cool. Right. And if you think that headcanon was cool with Columbina and you're like, oh, that sucks, I wanted this headcanon to happen, that's fine. That is completely fine. If you wanted this headcanon to happen and it's like, oh, that sucks that this headcanon didn't happen, that's completely fine. But don't dismiss what actually happened in the story and the good character writing and the good moments and things like that. Don't dismiss that because your headcanon didn't happen, because that's petty. That's not criticism. You're just being petty that what you wanted to happen didn't happen because you based it off of
Not for nothing.
it's just imagination.
Like, you just had an image in your head of what you wanted Columbina to be, and now you're disappointed that it didn't happen. And even if that is partially why people are disappointed, there is still in-game evidence and evidence in lore-relevant YouTube
All right, let's see the
videos
evidence.
to support what people thought about her.
Let's see the evidence. Here's and I'm going to say this now. Let's see the evidence and let's see how much of that evidence isn't just the story beat of Columbina is a person that is constantly misunderstood by multiple people because they never actually consider what she has to think and is more so implying a lot of things about her. Let's see how much is that and how much is like actual evidence that she was supposed to be this like horror biblically accurate angel. Because I swear, if the actual evidence is just going to end up being tied to the story beat of like people misjudge Columbina all the time, because that's a core part of her character. That is literally a core part of Columbina's character, is that everybody misjudges her. Yeah, is that everybody misjudges her because of her power and because of how socially inept she is. Let's see.
Let's go over some.
Oh, sure. Let's do it.
1. Columbina's appearance. Let's go over what we knew she looked like from our first look at her, the Winter Nights Lotso trailer. First, she has black and dark pink hair, colors that do not suggest something delicate or gentle. However, these dark colors are paired.
I don't know about that. Pink? You say pink? How does pink not mean delicate? And black hair, like some of the most delicate characters in fiction are like that. Some of the kindest, sweetest characters in fiction have black hair. I don't know. I don't know about all that.
Paired with Columbina's winged headdress, made of white feathers like dove wings.
Yeah, dove wings. You know, peace.
Not only does this mirror her name, Columbina, which means little dove, it also bears the appearance of a seraph, a type of angel in Christian theology. Seraphs typically have 3 pairs of wings and have the role of singing the praises of their god. Considering Columbina was a Fatui harbinger, maybe the praises that she was singing were for the Tsaritsa. Columbina is also clearly wearing a black and pink outfit under her Fatui coat, something that they
hair color means
evidently
mostly
dropped
nothing.
in her
Yeah, it's for
final
design.
Finally, Columbina has her eyes covered, suggesting maybe an unfeeling or uncaring personality, or maybe some mysterious power that lies
mysterious power. I don't.
behind her eyes.
None of these are all just. What do you mean 2? Don't say 2. What do you mean 2? Yeah, they just mean she's a mystery and she's kind of like strange. Yeah, she's mysterious and strange. What do you mean? Where do we get like evil like seraphim like god like seraphim, sure, fair. Where do we get like biblically accurate angel like horror demon? Like where does that come from? No, it's mysterious. Sure, that's called mysterious. Like a character that's mysterious can be a good guy. Like a lot of characters that are mysterious end up being good guys. What do you mean do? You can't just move on for this. This appearance analysis means jack all. No, yeah, it just means she's mysterious, which I agree with. Yeah, she's mysterious. That's it. That didn't prove anything. You just proved that she's mysterious.
Columbina's actions.
Yeah.
In the trailer, she is singing a soft lullaby, smiling gently while laying along the coffin of her recently deceased fellow harbinger. I don't care what anyone says, that's creepy.
Oh my gosh. Yes, it's creepy. That's the point. Because she gets misjudged. She's socially inept. She doesn't know better. Like, that's literally the entire point of Columbina's character. That is the core of a character, is that you're supposed to have this misconception of her and think, that's weird. And if you think that weird is creepy, fair. But that's the entire point. Nobody gave Columbina the chance to know her as a person. They always either revered her back in Nodcry because she was the god to them. Going to the Fatui, something seemed off about her because she's eventually going to be revealed as a god, and she just doesn't know how to correctly really do. They just did it in the recent quest when like she like saw like Chevres like punch Chiori as like a greeting, and then she just started punching people. Bro, she doesn't know better. No, I mean, I don't mean she doesn't know better like she's completely inept. She's like She's getting new to social cues and like things that she needs to do. And to Columbina, she would always sing to her friends, right? Like we saw it in the other video. She sang outside of Sandrone's door. Like that's how, you could say, like, you would literally argue that, like, that's how she like copes or whatever, or that's what she did with her friends. And Senora seemingly was pretty close to her, so it's her singing at her coffin. Yeah, at the time it's like weird and creepy, but that's the point, is that people judged Columbina and thought she was one way. Everyone said she was weird, but they just said it nice. Yeah, literally, I think everybody in Not Cry said she's weird and constantly said she's weird. That's the point. Oh wait, hold on, give me a second. Ooh, okay. Hey, Kyle, what's up? Mysterious background equals evil person is BS. Mysterious is used as a way to get the reader and player intrigued, and it serves no direct purpose beyond that. Like I said, people can't see beyond their headcanon. Yeah, I think that's what this is ending up
Shows
being.
that she kind of has this detached attitude regarding death, especially of her own colleague. 3. What other characters say about her?
Here we go. Here we
Child's
go.
voice line about his fellow Harbinger points
Here we
the
go.
most to a scary character in Columbina.
The Fatui Harbingers are ranked by strength.
I have no idea. The goal number 3 is I test my skill with every Harbinger who ranks above me if I had the chance. When it comes to her, something that just doesn't feel right. And, yeah, because she's a god. She's a god. No other Harbinger is a god. The closest you have is like Arlecchino, who has attachments to the Crimson Moon. But that's it. Columbina is just straight up one of the Moon Sisters and is a god. Yes, that's why something doesn't feel right. It doesn't mean scary. It means strange and mysterious. I don't know why this person thinks mysterious equals evil. It's just like you said, they think mysterious equals evil. She's mysterious. Just because it's mysterious doesn't
I
mean
have
it's evil.
no idea why that girl is number 3. I'd test my skills with every Harbinger who ranks above me if I had the chance. But when it comes to her,
Particular and interesting and unique,
something
yeah.
just
She's just
doesn't
weird. Yeah,
feel
she's
right.
weird. She's
Anyway,
weird.
you should be
She's weird and
careful around her.
mysterious.
Even Child sounded scared to challenge her to a battle, and he
No, he's confused. Like, sure, he's scared. It doesn't. When it comes to something that just doesn't feel right, yeah, something doesn't feel right because she's a god, and like it's weird. It's called weird. It's called
Careful around
mysterious.
her.
even
Weird,
Child
mysterious,
sounded
strange.
scared to challenge her to a battle, and he loves fighting with strong opponents. Scaramouche also suggests staying away from her and implies that she is not as innocent as she seems.
Let me ask, what do you do if you were encounter a damsel who is obvious and innocent at any given time, and a concerned and unfeeling in every situation over me? I would at least challenge her. If I were you with your conscience, I would stay away from her. Yeah, again, weird, mysterious, and you don't know what she's doing. She's mysterious.
What should you do if you were to encounter a damsel who is oblivious and innocent at any given time, and unconcerned and unfeeling in any given situation? If it were me, I could at least challenge her to a fight. But if it were you, with your conscience, I would stay away from her.
Right. And again, this plays into Columbina because a lot of the times Columbina doesn't know how to react in any given situation. Because again, immediately as soon as she was born, she was like revered and given gifts and like worshipped, but she didn't know how to react to that. And then she went to Nod Cry, couldn't really feel the connection there, then came back. Like she doesn't know where to go. She doesn't know where she fits in. She doesn't really know what to do. No one ever gave her like guidance. No one ever like asked her how she particularly feels about things. No one ever had a like personal connection with her.
The way that I've seen people defend this is by saying that Child and Scaramouche are bad at reading people and they didn't know her that well. So
No, I don't think they're bad at reading people. I think the reading of it is fine, but the reading of it equals she's mysterious and strange and I don't know what's her deal, which is still correct, but it doesn't mean evil. It doesn't mean evil. It just means that she's weird and mysterious and I don't know what's happening here, which is accurate because that's the entire point. Like nobody really knows what's going on with Columbina because nobody really talked to her one-on-one. No one really got to know her. That's the entire point of the character. People act like she was birthed. Like, no, she was spawned in. Yeah, like she was literally spawned in.
of course their assumption
She's a
wasn't
moon
wrong.
goddess.
They
She's
just
not
knew
a
that she
normal
was
person.
powerful. Dude, you are not getting at the reason why these voice lines are put in the game. Yes, they are useful for showing the relationships between characters and what characters think about each other, but they should also be used to provide hints and information about characters that we haven't met yet.
Yes, and they do. The entire point of Columbina is thinking that she's like weird and strange, and it does work very well because you meet her, and guess what? She's weird and strange, but not evil. She's just weird and strange and mysterious. And if you get the implication that she's creepy, that's on purpose because you're supposed to misjudge her, or rather, characters misjudge her constantly, and you can understand why because it's just like, oh, I thought you were supposed to be this weird, creepy person, but you're just like kind of just socially awkward. Like that's her character. That is her story. That is the story being told. The story being told is that nobody's really given her a chance to be a friend, and she's weird and mysterious, and a lot of people judge her. Like that is the story being told.
If you put in a voice line about Columbina not being what she seems, then people are going to listen to that and assume that she's not what she seems. And
Yes, you're supposed to. Yes, this is all correct. This is all correct. But what that translates as is where this person is at fault. You are 100% correct. Yes, you're supposed to feel weirded out and you're supposed to have these certain misjudgments. And then when you finally meet her, you're just like, okay, that's why. Because that is the story being told for this character. She's supposed to be misjudged.
there's nothing wrong with that. I think people just aren't willing to admit that Genshin has bad and inconsistent writing sometimes. Fourth,
No, it's not. Saying it's bad and inconsistent is such a reach. No, it's supposed to make you feel a certain way so that when the story reveals something, you're just like, okay, that's why they did this, right? That is why they did this. They made her seem weird, mysterious, and creepy because she's weird and mysterious and maybe a little creepy if you don't understand where she's coming from.
her rank. Columbina was long known to be the
Excuse me.
third Harbinger.
Yep.
It's also been known for a long time that the closer they are to number one in the rankings, the more powerful they are.
Yep.
Columbina being number 3, especially right below Dottore, who is notably unhinged and evil, suggests that she is not only similarly powerful, but also similarly devoted to her work as part of a major villain faction.
Okay, first of all, did this person genuinely think that the Saritsa is gonna be a villain? Bro, no. We know that the Saritsa hates Celestia, and we know she wants to take Celestia down, and we know that Celestia is full of bad like beings that did horrible things. Like me and my homies also hate Celestia. Me and my homies also hate the Shades. Like, yeah, the Fatui is a villainous group, but they're not full like villains. And the fact that this person doesn't know that's known since like 1.5, I feel like very early in the story you can get the implication that like, oh yeah, the Saritsa is like a type of person that's like the greater good, right? Like it's all about the greater good. Like she'll be willing to do these evil things if the greater good is like accomplished. Like we've been knowing that. I'm not kind of the Saritsa being playable like Alice. She's a mom, that's why she's not playable. Yeah, it's true. Yeah. And like, okay, if you want to use this, bro, Capitano is the most heroic person in the entire Fatui. If we really want to go this angle of just like, oh, why is she not blah 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 because Dottore is so evil? First of all, Dottore got excommunicated when he started to be really evil, and then secondly, bro, Capitano is the most heroic person in like the entire Fatui. He's literally the most heroic person. So what even is this argument?
I cannot stress this enough. Clearly, there is a wealth of evidence.
That's it? What about Capitano? Capitano! If you're gonna be like, oh, she's... wait, what is this argument? Let me listen to it.
Evil suggests that she is not only similarly powerful, but also similarly devoted to her work as part of a major villain faction.
Devoted to her work has made a major villain faction. What about Capitano? Literally one of the most heroic ones out there, who's willing to put his life on the line for Natlan, and did put his life on the line for Natlan. And he's number 1. What is this argument? It's a terrible argument.
There is a wealth of evidence to support the theories that people had about Columbina. I'm tired of people pretending that it wasn't there, and
it's not that it wasn't there, it's that the way you're translating those early concepts about Columbina is erroneous. It's not people who say that like the previous stuff about Columbina like wasn't true. It's like, no, you're translating that into my headcanon wasn't correct. What the real answer is yes, you were supposed to have assumptions about Columbina because her entire story is people have been having assumptions about her entire life and didn't give her the chance to talk about what she actually is about or anything about her or any of the details about her. That's her entire story. That's the point. It's just that your way you're translating it is just like...
tired of people pretending that it wouldn't have worked tonally. There is literally a villain who does human experimentation. There was literally
tone is whatever.
Genocide in Conria.
You can do whatever with the tone. I don't know about that.
Instead, we learn that Columbina is actually a moon goddess. Okay,
moon sister.
Sure. But also she's actually just a damsel in distress, like her name suggests. She's timid and soft-spoken and gentle, and she's shy at first, but eventually opens up to you. And you are the most special person in her life, even though you've known her for maybe 2 weeks.
Because no one gave her that opportunity. Everybody either revered her or with the Saritsa, they just made her do a job. Like she had friends, right? Of course she had friends, but it's clear they never really knew each other like personally. Like it takes this quest and it takes her to learning to like open up to the people who are close to her, especially with like Sandrone and stuff like that.
I cannot stand how willfully obtuse people will be about Columbina, pretending not to see the fan service that is sitting right in front of them.
They're gonna show the lollipop scene.
She hides behind the Traveler when she doesn't know how to talk to people. Aw, she likes to eat snacks. Aw, you get to feed her.
There it is. I knew it.
English VA is moaning into the mic every
I knew it. I freaking knew it.
She's so weak. She can't do anything by herself and probably would have died if the Traveler hadn't rescued her. Aw.
Bro. Like oh man. I wonder what they think about the Hu Tao scene in in the whatchamacallit in freaking what is it called again? I wonder what they thought about the Hu Tao scene in that one lantern, right? I'm genuinely curious. Bro, like I think a big attribute when it comes to stuff like this is like, how do you perceive something, and the fact that you can perceive something in any way possible, right? Let's take two different routes with this just this Columbina scene, right? Like, I think if you let's get married. If you want to translate this as like, oh, Columbina that needed the traveler to like save her and things like that because she's a damsel, right? Like, it's just like, oh my goodness, she's such a damsel because she needed the traveler to like save her. Bro, how about the fact that Columbina used actual time travel in order to save the entire land of Nodcry and resurrect herself? Literally using the attributes of time travel in order to activate her resurrection. But where's the Columbina like face of the moon or something? She literally creates a plan almost out of nowhere using the fact that she's in the dark side of the moon to try and resurrect herself. Like, if Columbina doesn't do what she does, her resurrection also doesn't happen. The fact that she spreads out her own Kuvaki over all the land in the past, right? The fact that she like gives up a shred of herself to become Luanatar and things like that. All of that was also necessary to fuel her resurrection. So I do think that like how people like interpret something or translate something really can affect like how they think about a story and stuff like that, because you can see it in both ways. I think if this person had this implication, I don't think this, oh wait, I went to the wrong thing. If this person wants to have this implication of just like, oh, she got saved by the traveler and she couldn't do it without the traveler, like, yeah, you can have that thought process because that's how you translate it. But for someone like me, I see it as like, wow, she made a whole time travel plot in order to bring back herself with this whole resurrection plan, right? You need Sandrone. Well, sorry. You need Sandrone, you need the Traveler, you need Varka and Arlecchino, and what is it? And you need Columbina. Columbina pays a cute, like, if Columbina doesn't do the things that she does, spreading her essence in the world via Kuvaki, like putting her a shard of herself in the past as Luanatar because she knows the Traveler is going to come in contact with Luanatar. If she doesn't do that in the past in the phases of the moon, this plan doesn't work and she doesn't resurrect, right? Like, that's just a core part of this scene. That's a core part of her character, of the role that she plays in her own resurrection. And it's just like, it's how you interpret it. Like, yeah, you can interpret it in this way, but that's because you just want to dislike it. And I think that's the major point that I'm making, is like, you can make these disingenuous arguments because you want to get across a point, but guess what? Somebody's gonna tear it apart because it is just your opinion and it's just how you choose to translate it. None of these things that they've said right here are objective. It's just how they feel about a scene. If that's how you feel about the scene, that's 100% fine. But how equally you feel this is just like, oh, I'm a damsel, traveler, help me. I can equally see this as Columbina put a plan into action to facilitate her resurrection. And both are correct. Both are our takeaways from this. But the only difference is mine is actually hinged on the things that happen in the story, and hers are more, or theirs, I'm not sure, are more hinged on how they feel about the story. She saves herself before we could, which helped us save her. Yeah, exactly. She's the one that even set the plan in motion in the first place. And then she comes back to save everybody again. Yes, exactly. Yes. She saves everybody still. Like, literally, we don't win. Like, and that's my problem too, is like, we don't win without Columbina. We can only beat the Torre with Columbina. So it's just like, if you want to say that she's a damsel, you have to add a but at the end, because she's clearly not a damsel because she beats the Torre and we can't win without her. So at some point, your narrative has to drop. And well, let's see if the narrative drops. We got two Harbingers that we never liked, and both of them are dead now, Senor and Dottore. Everyone else had more good in them. Yeah.
Do anything by herself and probably would have died if the Traveler hadn't rescued her. Aww. People like to pretend that it's somehow misogynistic to point this out. Again, purposefully ignoring that Hoyo is writing her this way intentionally. Guys, I kid you not, she literally turns invisible for a significant portion of the Archon quest. I promise you, that is not feminist. And it's not even like the moon goddess thing makes any sense.
Well, it does.
They even come up with some last-minute reason why she covers her eyes. There was a time when I refused to look upon the world. I believed it was full of nothing but lies and falsehoods.
Yeah, right, because she's constantly dying because the frost moon is outside the fake sky. And again, nobody actually listened to what she had to say or how she thought, and just thought she was like a god and just kind of revered her. Like that's part of the story too. Everyone is a damsel in distress for the traveler too. That's also a good point. If we're gonna say damsel in distress, that's every single character. That's very, very true actually. Yes, every single character is a damsel in distress when it comes to the traveler and to their story. So many stories you can't do without the traveler like helping this person. But somehow it's only an issue when it comes to Columbina. We save literally everybody. Yes, we literally almost every, at bare minimum 85% of the cast we save, and you could see them as a damsel in distress. Yeah. The traveler saved Child from the whale. Yep. We saved A from Raiden. Yep. We saved Nahida from Dottore. Yep. We saved Malvika and everybody from the Dragon and Natlan. Yep. Everybody is a damsel in distress. Everybody is a damsel in distress. But why is it only a problem when it's Columbina? Because you don't like Columbina and you don't like the story. That's fine. But again, don't try to pretend that you're justifying this with actual evidence. Yeah, why are we nitpicking Columbina? I don't know. Looking at it by that logic, everybody's a damsel in distress. Yeah, that's just how they write these characters because, you know, that's how they sell these characters.
I wish to hide my feelings, seal my heart, until I could return to my true.
Also, this is so unclassy, I gotta say. Like, mimicking, like, a voice to try and, like, make a point. Like, that's just not classy. I'm just gonna say that. Nothing else to add there. It really doesn't help your point. Now, granted, I did do that when they were talking about the Columbina. I wish Columbina was like a crazy evil, like a realistic angel or whatever. Granted, I understand I do that, but that was also unclassy from me too. That's how I know it's unclassy. This is just unclassy. Like, you're not getting your point across by making a bad mimicking voice.
Oh my god. If this is what they originally planned to do with her, which it wasn't, then she was a goddamn waste of a Harbinger slot. It is so clear to me.
That's so crazy to me. Literally one of the best stories, one of the best characters in Columbina, like learning about her, with the lore about her, her character relationships, and all the cool and awesome stuff that she does, saying that that's a waste purely because your headcanon was not achieved. And it's sad, right? It's sad, and to me, I think it's a clear indication that, like, hey, you just don't like where the story is going and you're probably burnt out. I think, again, that's all this is coming down to. It's just sad that this person can't take away it's sad that this person's disappointment that their headcanon was not met is more important than the story that was delivered to them. I think that is genuinely sad. I think that's genuinely sad.
That she was never their original intention for the moon goddess. Her design suffers so bad as a result of Hoyo's ineptitude. I mean, look at these colors. They don't go together.
They look like the moon. Her dress literally looks like the moon. What do you mean? Her dress literally looks like the moon. It literally looks like the moon. What are you talking about? And she wore that dress back in the lasso, I'm pretty sure. Okay, no, she was in the Fatui cloak. Okay, she was wearing the Fatui cloak. Okay, I think it was just a Fatui cloak. Anyway, okay. Okay, yeah, it was just a Fatui cloak.
At all. Oh my god, she's so beautiful. No,
She
she's
is.
not. Her design is two different designs smashed together. In fact,
What?
these colors only look okay together when they purposefully give the outfit more purple tones, which they could have just as easily done in the game model, but they didn't. Even her
Terrifying
constant-
art,
which
by
they
the
could
way.
have
This
just
is terrifying. This is beautiful.
as easily done in the game model, but they didn't.
Yeah.
Even her constellation.
What are we doing here? Like, this is just nonsense. There's no arguments being made here. There's just this person. Again, it's just my headcanon wasn't met, and I'm angry and trying to justify that. I think, yeah, you just hate Columbina, which is fine. You can hate Columbina. Bro, I don't like some characters. I don't like Chongyun, and I'll hate them.
It's a mishmash of her Fatui aesthetic.
You don't need to justify your dislike of a character. Can I just say that? If you dislike a character, you can just dislike them. You don't need to justify your dislike and pretend that, like, I am objectively correct in my dislike of a character. You could just dislike a character. Like, you know what I mean? You could just be a hater. There's nothing wrong with being a hater. You could just be a hater.
And her goddess aesthetic. We have both the traditional portrait shape that all the other gods in the game get, and also her symbol of the crying dove, just shoved right in at the bottom. I completely believe.
Yeah, this is just
the
hater
idea
talk.
That Nod Cry,
Oh, shit.
character at least, was rewritten at some point because there was no indication that they had any semblance of a plan for such a highly anticipated character. And the most frustrating part about all of this to me is that Hoyo actually leans into several of the things that people thought about Columbina, but only enough that it feels like they're teasing and laughing in the face of their fans, as if we read into it too much or something. In her burst, she grows wings like an angel, and these wings bear resemblance to a Sealy cork, both
Yeah.
echoing the
Your
theory
moon
that
goddess. She's a
angel.
moon goddess.
But she's not an angel. In her character trailer, she performs a ballet, which calls to mind, for me, the very popular fan design in which she was a ballerina. Something
Bro, this is just they're going crazy. I can't even. There's nothing I can say. They're just going crazy. They're going crazy. They don't like Columbina, and they're trying to justify their dislike of Columbina as an objective fact. That is just what's happening. There's nothing I can add to this. There's nothing I can add to this.
that the ribbons on her hands and feet might suggest, and it kills me because this trailer.
There's nothing I can say.
The visuals and the choreography are gorgeous.
Why are we reaching to fan designs now? They're just going crazy. There's nothing I can say. They're gone. They're too deep. They're in too deep. I can't save this. They're in too deep.
The symbolism of Dottore as the pianist who's controlling the dance by playing the music. Oh my god, I love it. But it would be even better if she was a dancer or a ballerina of some kind, because she isn't, even though that would have made a lot of sense thematically with her singing. Perhaps the strangest example of Hoyoverse leaning into the theories about Columbina is that they have the singer Aurora wearing a dress with eyes on it during the Welcome Moon concert, which suggests the biblically accurate angel thing. Maybe I'm reading too much into this last one, especially, but I design.
Oh shoot. Oh my gosh. I accelerated too far.
Aurora, way back in Inazuma, and most to more recent ones. I think it's important to discuss the
I don't know where. There we go.
Frustrating because they are so
They've lost the
close.
plot. Why isn't she analog horror themed? That's all the fan arts told me she would be. Yeah, that's literally all it is. It's just, I thought she'd be analog horror because I like that headcanon. She's not analog horror, so I'm gonna get angry and make like unreasonable arguments. This went completely off the rails. Yeah, I think them going completely off the rails is just proving my point, right? I think this entire video can be simply summed, and I have not been convinced otherwise. This entire video is completely summarized as, I've been playing Genshin Impact for 6 years, I'm burnt out, and so I'm not enjoying it as much. And now with Columbina, it's like, hey, I really like the headcanon that the fans had for Columbina. I can't wait to see it happen. The headcanon didn't happen. Well, this thing I liked didn't happen, so now I'm angry, and I'm going to try to make these strange arguments to try and justify this anger. That's all it is. That's all it is.
Or morally gray or irredeemable. This leads to what I lovingly refer to as the Genshin villain problem. Other popular gacha games, like Cookie Run Kingdom,
This is valid.
literally
Maybe.
have
Let's
morally reprehensible or canonically dead characters that are playable. What is stopping Genshin from making their villains stay villains, but also become playable?
Now, this is a good point. I think that's valid. There's nothing wrong with that. I think that's a completely valid, statement to make. Because, yeah, when it comes to Genshin villains, in terms of the pure evil ones, it's mostly just NPCs.
Columbina
And Dottore. Well,
just an
Dottore is a NPC. Yeah.
embodiment of a bigger problem in Genshin. They do not want to have any characters who have questionable morals become playable.
Okay, well, no, it's not a Columbina problem. Stop doing that. You're just saying that because your headcanon wasn't met.
Most of the time, this ends up going in two ways. The first is that the character is redeemed and then becomes friends with the Traveler before becoming playable. This is what has happened to every playable Harbinger thus far. Tartaglia fights anything that moves, but he respects the Traveler even though they have different motives and values. He only ever wants a friendly spar with them. Scaramouche has no
Well, no, he wanted to kill him first, but it's fine.
one else who understands his past and is connected with the Traveler in that way. Arlecchino is a ruthless woman who is grooming children to be a part of the Fatui, but it turns out that the House of the Hearth is a lot less sinister under her rule, so that's okay too, I guess. And Columbina,
Okay.
This battle was never about fate. It's about friends, family, and the home you
This is the most
support.
obnoxious thing I've ever experienced in my life.
the second way it goes is that the character
Heck yeah.
cannot be redeemed and is therefore killed off so that they won't become playable. This is what happened to Signora way back in Inazuma, and most recently it happened to Dottore. This was honestly shocking to me, especially considering how much of a fan favorite Dottore is. Let me be clear, Dottore is a horrible person, and he should not be redeemed. We should be able to understand his motives.
I agree.
without believing him
I agree
for
with
what he's
this.
done. He has imposed so much pain on so many people in the game, and his morals are
I agree
extremely
with
corrupt,
this.
but he's still very, very interesting, and you can sometimes almost understand where he's coming from.
I agree
while
with
not
this.
condoning his methods, which I must stress is what makes a well-written villain. People love this guy's character, but now he can never become playable because as of right now, he's dead. Little did you know, though, that there is a secret third option, which is what they did to Capitano, a combo of options 1 and 2. They redeemed him and then still killed him off anyway. What a strange decision that was. Again, for a character that was extremely highly anticipated.
I mean, it made sense with the story. I don't know how you wrap up Natlan with everything like that without
Just threw in
Capitano
all
dying.
This tragic backstory for him at the very end of the Natlan Archon quest, and then he fucking died right after that. So none of it mattered at all.
None of it mattered. That was the conclusion of his arc. What do you mean? Bro, I think this person just gone insane. What do you mean? That was the conclusion of his arc. The conclusion of his arc is that all the people, all the souls that he's been harboring inside him are finally able to rest. That's literally his arc. What do you mean? His arc got completed. What are we doing? We have to stop.
And then he fucking died right after that. So none of it mattered at all.
It did matter. All his companions and all his people he had inside him, all the souls got to rest. What do you mean it didn't matter? That literally is the thing that mattered the most, and he saved all of Natlan by repairing the ley lines that the Abyss destroyed. What are we talking about? And he also made, not Renova. What was the other god? The other god of death. Not the god of death, but the other god in I guess it was an angel in Natlan. It has his immortality now. Like, it mattered so much. What are we doing? What are we saying?
It's like they don't understand their own visual cues. A perfect example of this to me is Escoffier. Maybe, again, this might be just me, but even she gave me creepy vibes in the silhouette teaser from the live stream. Where they
creepy vibes? What? Because she has a knife? Look at it. Don't let her see Gordon Ramsay, bro.
Build upcoming characters for 2025. She has this hair that sticks out, the shape of which largely resembles horns. And
what? Horns? That looks like the Ahoge like hair flick. What are we saying?
Conveys a sort of like wildness of her personality. She has a devil's pitchfork tail that's positioned up where we can clearly see it.
Yeah.
And she's
pitchfork, because she's a chef.
holding a sharp knife up. Like, she looked psycho to me.
What? She's a chef. What are we doing? What are we doing? She looks shy. Bro, they're doing the headcanon thing again, but this time I've never heard this argument with Escoffier. But I think this doubles down to what I was saying earlier of just like, I have headcanon for a character. If headcanon for a character doesn't happen, I don't like character.
Me.
Have you ever seen it?
And I was
Okay.
intrigued.
Yeah.
And at least that would have been interesting and different. But no, not only is this design ass, but it's also incredibly misleading. She's just kind of a tsundere who's very particular about her food.
Yes, you just didn't like your headcanon, now you don't like the character. Like, I think this person needs to understand that they just have that attribute about them.
I don't
Newton.
understand why they're like this guy. One of my favorite comments that I've seen about this that just perfectly embodies my feelings on the matter is this from the unofficial Genshin subreddit. They're allergic to morally gray, redeemable, or just bad characters because they don't know how to write anything that isn't a shitty isekai where the main character wins using the power of friendship and his harem. Oh, speaking of harem.
Dive into misogynistic fan. Oh, brother.
It's an anime gacha game. You have to expect fan service. Okay, I know that. But Genshin used to be different from other games in its genre, and I mean that genuinely. There used to be a much better ratio of female to male 5-star characters than many other gacha games.
Valid.
Because so many gacha games are targeted at male audiences who aren't perceived as being
Very valid, very valid.
And there were
Very
sexy character
valid.
outfits, especially on the women. Lots of detached sleeves, short skirts.
I mean, Hoyo just likes that. I mean, I do think that's fair if you want to criticize it, but like, yeah, welcome to gacha games, and bro, they've been doing that from Honkai 3. You can find detached sleeves in Honkai 3, and you don't need to look hard.
Also known as the coochie flap, thigh-high socks or boots. But they were nowhere near as bad as they are now. These women are nearly naked now. And not only does that make me mad and uncomfortable from a standpoint of being a woman who feels objectified just by looking at these designs, but also from a character design standpoint. I have quite a bit to say about the sharp drop-off in not only the quality of the Genshin character designs, but also in the tastefulness of them. To show you what I mean, we can talk about some early Genshin designs to compare them to more recent ones. I think
Okay.
it's important to discuss the physical elements.
Are we gonna talk about the fact that Hu Tao's wearing booty shorts and her entire leg is out? Are we gonna talk about that? Probably not, right? Are we gonna talk about the fact that Hu Tao's entire legs are out and she's wearing straight up booty shorts? And the splash shot of her is showing her butt with those booty shorts. Are we gonna talk about this? Or no, of course we're not, because she's an old character and I have nostalgia for this old character. Unless they do, then I'll eat my words. But I'll have Hu Tao with her booty shorts right here ready to go if they want to talk about that.
These characters first before we discuss the fans.
Someone tell her that every character is a product. Yeah, every character is a product, a
Service
character to be
elements of
sold.
their presentation, writing, and personalities, because the physical appearance is the most obvious element, but I promise we will get to the other stuff in due time. Also keep in mind that I'm only going to be talking about female characters because most of the time, the male characters are almost always covered from chin to toe now, aka the fan service is not equal opportunity. One of the first characters I'll mention
Okay.
is Lisa, one of the very first anime fan servicey characters that we're introduced to in the game. She teases the traveler, she calls them cutie, and she's averse to doing any sort of work. Her character design communicates so much about her though, nonetheless. Her hairstyle, which is very loose and almost looks like it's falling out on one side, shows us that lazy element of her personality. Her purple, black, and gold color palette obviously communicates her element of electro, but also a sense of importance, luxuriousness, and magic. Her classically styled witch hat also conveys the latter.
I mean, they just made a witch. I don't even need to go that crazy. They made a witch. Miko is a shrine maiden. Like I can overflare or underflare any Genshin character. You can literally do that with any Genshin character of all time. You can over and underflare everybody. You just described a witch, but you described it in a very nice and elegant way that it seemed more cooler than it actually was. And Miko herself is just a shrine
Similar to
maiden.
Lisa in terms of teasing.
Also, Miko's entire legs are just out. You don't even see where her pants are. And she has the detached sleeves.
Personality, although Miko can get a bit more cruel and self-indulgent with it. She has a sharper eye shape than Lisa's gentle round eyes to indicate this part of her personality. Her outfit is also a stylized version of a traditional Japanese shrine maiden outfit, giving her the required amount of gacha game sexiness while also showing her spiritual importance in Inazuma. Her design being more complicated than the other shrine maidens also signifies that her role is the most important of all of them. Her hair is the color of a sakura blossom, and she has cherry blossom motifs in her clothing, again emphasizing her Japanese inspiration, but also her connection to the sacred sakura of Inazuma, which is deeply connected with her element of electro. Xinyan is one of my favorite Liu Yan character designs because it combines traditional elements of Chinese clothing styles with Xinyan's rock aesthetic, so you immediately know by looking at her what she represents. Xinyan wears lots of dark colors, spikes, and fishnet, features common in punk or alternative clothing styles. All of this is accented by red and orange, obviously representing
Her entire legs are also out, by the way. I also want to point out. Her entire leg is also out.
clothing styles. All of this is accented by red and orange, obviously representing her.
It's just the old style. I guess the old style of MiHoYo designs is entire leg is out.
Xinyan also has some very subtle nods to her Liyuan culture. So while she mostly represents a counterculture in Liyue, she still maintains cohesion with the other character designs in her region. The last of the older character designs that I'm going to touch on is Navia's, probably my favorite Fontanian design personally. This design is basically a sluttier version of a traditional French aristocratic gown, but it still covers most bodies. Navia's design exudes wealth. It is full of ruffles and jewels. She has these big billowy curls. She's got this big hat decorated with feathers. She brings along a frilly parasol. She also maintains connection to her hometown of Poisson with the ship wheels on her hips, as well as the canon theming of her elemental burst. Navia is also a very cheerful character, which her yellow color palette communicates, and she also has got these cute sparkles in her eyes that show that.
I agree with this.
These designs are not only pretty tasteful in terms of gacha character designs, but they also do their job. They communicate information about the character, even if you knew nothing about them to begin with. This is what makes a good character design, and it is ironically what many character designs in modern Genshin fail to do. Not only that, but they also get more and more boring and more insulting as time goes on. So let's take a walk through them, shall we?
Okay.
Fun. One of my least favorite recent characters is Lali. Again, I know a fan favorite, but I'm sorry, I do not like her.
What's wrong with Lali?
The most offensive of the Not Lan ones. I just find her annoying. I do think her English VA is very good at their job, and that they do a great job with Lali's voice.
Wait, what's the problem with Lali?
I really just don't like the character's writing. We will talk about that in a bit. One of the things I dislike about her design, though, is this goddamn leotard that she's wearing. This girl is literally wearing a thong. The sweater thing would go right up her butt crack. I cannot stand stuff like this. Also, side note real quick, I have to pause to talk about the state of Genshin character trailers. Can we talk about how these videos used to be actual showcases of the character's combat abilities with like little elements of story sprinkled in? Ones that strike this balance well, in my opinion, are Nahida's trailer, Farina's trailer, and Arlecchino's trailer. But now, character trailers are either, one, headache-inducing fan edits with these wildly inappropriate aesthetic choices, like Nephra's trailer or Lali's, or two, music videos that make me feel like I'm going to implode from cringing, like Shilonen or Mawiko's trailer. At most, these ones show the elemental burst animation. It doesn't tell you anything about what it's like to actually play the character in the video.
Kind of, this one's kind of fair.
Supposed to be pulling for them in. Tell me how that's supposed to give me a good impression of these characters.
I mean, that's just a different style of trailer.
Anyway, back to Lali's outfit. It's the
I think it's
same
somewhat
thing
fair.
with Mawika. Her design features a zipper that goes all the way around between her legs up to her back. That can't be comfortable, right? Especially riding a motorcycle. And also, what exactly does this design communicate about Mawika other than being a biker?
What? Okay, my question. So why are we suddenly talking about comfortability when it comes to designs? That's the main argument they made with both Lali and Mawika. Why are we talking about comfortability with those characters and we didn't talk about comfortability with any of these characters? Like, are we acting like Lisa wearing like a single piece of cloth is like comfortable, like as just like her going out, right?
Luxuriousness and magic.
Like, wait, what? Like, why are we suddenly talking about comfortability? Or like they didn't talk about comfortability with any of these characters. We're still alive, yeah, for a little bit. Or like Xinyan as well. Like, yeah, why are we suddenly talking about like would these would these design outfits work in real life? Like, what? Why are we suddenly making that argument of just like would these designs work in real life when we didn't use that? Would these designs look in real life for any of these characters? They kind of said it with like Navia, where they said like, oh, Navia is like a sluttier version of like some other different outfit. But like, wait, why is that a positive thing there, but it's a negative thing here? Comfortably and tasteful with no mention of armpit windows.
Her hair is the only thing about her design that gives me pyro archon. But then, you know, all of that still goes away when she fights and her hair lights up. And then we have Veresa. I was really excited about this design when I saw the silhouette in that same teaser we were talking about earlier. Oh my gosh, a girl that's a cow. Oh my god, that's gonna be so cute. I love these braids and the big horns. I mean, I wonder what kind of color palette she'll have. Maybe like browns and greens, something earthy because she's a farm animal. Oh.
Well, I didn't know he did this.
I guess that works too. Just kidding. I hate this design. One of my least favorites in the entire game. I just like, what was the point, dude? Why is she so like kawaii themed? She's got hearts and bows everywhere. She wears
cute.
warmer.
I don't know.
This is pointless.
Even for a character to be cute.
You expect me to believe that this is a lucha libre fighter? I know that luchadoras often dress in similar silhouettes to Veresa's outfit, but they didn't incorporate any elements of the culture that Veresa is inspired by, or the one that her name comes from. There are plenty of lucha libre.
If you want to look for something tasteful and don't play any gacha games, yeah.
Incorporate elements.
Again, the way that they're talking about this negatively about Verasa, you can do the same thing they were talking about positively for like Navia or whatever, right? Oh gosh. Oh.
That this is a lucha.
Like, what is it? With Verasa, like literally what they did with like the earlier characters, you could just easily be like, oh, what I really like about Verasa is she has like this kind of like luchador mask and how that changes her different combos. I really like the fact that she has like bandages and stuff on her, showing that she's a little bit reckless, but like the mask changes everything. It makes her look a lot more confident. So it's just like depending on how you see her, you can either see her as like kind of like a little bit clumsy and like gets into like a lot of like accents and things like that. But when she suddenly puts the mask on, she's gonna seem a lot more like confident, and that's gonna be like, oh, just kind of like how in wrestling when they put the mask on, that like mask is very like sacred to them because it makes them seem like a real fighter and things like that. Like you could do these type of things in any direction. You know what I mean? And I don't think it changes things either way or another.
I know that luchadoras often dress in similar silhouettes to Veresa's outfit, but they didn't incorporate any elements of the culture that Veresa is inspired by, or the one that her name comes from. There were plenty of lucha libre fighters who incorporate elements of their culture into their costumes. They could have gotten really creative with it, but it's not like it even matters because we never even get to see her fight like a luchadora in the game. It's all just the food bullshit and falling on her ass all the time. It's especially frustrating because the animators have been getting really creative with the normal attack animations.
Yeah, I say they are lucha libre moves.
Something like this. Like I said earlier, I was interested too in Escoffier's design based on the silhouette, but
in fact, don't look at anything anime
I'm
related.
very disappointed with this reveal. Not only does this outfit make no sense with regards to breaking up any colors or with this weird heart theming that she has, similar to Veresa. Again, I don't know why they keep doing this, but her outfit is literally just the sexy chef Halloween costume. She's wearing an
Yeah, she's supposed to be okay. To be fair, I don't think they ever have done a quest yet or really anything that talked about this. She's supposed to. I'm pretty sure she's supposed to be a succubus. I'm pretty sure she's supposed to be like a quote unquote succubus. That's the whole reason she has like the whole garter belt thing. That's why she has like the demon tail and things like that. I'm like all these aesthetics are she's supposed to be a chef succubus. That's the whole thing. And then it ties into the succubus idea because like, a normal succubus is going to lead you in with lust, but she's going to lead you in with food. Like that's the motif like that. Yeah. And that's why she has the hearts and things like that. Yeah. That's why she has the heart and the garter belt and the tail. She's a succubus, but instead of leading people to her via lust, she's leading people to her via food, right? Like that's the theme. Like just because you don't understand the theme of the character, like, and that's why you have this interpretation. Like I said, you can interpret any character in a negative or positive way. Like it just depends on how you say it.
With nothing.
Now, to be fair, I don't think the game does that good of a that good of a job of like communicating she's a succubus. You just have to like figure that out by looking at her design. Like they never really did something like that via like the game, like her trying to like lead people to come to her like shop place compared to like some other characters or whatever. Like maybe that would have gave that implication better, but it's very clear, at least to me, that she's supposed to be a chef succubus.
Nothing underneath it. Not only is that insulting, but it's boring and it's lazy. You guys literally couldn't bother to design a shirt for her to wear under this apron. They
She's a
really gathered more
succubus.
effort into the detailing on her fucking stockings.
She's a
to design
succubus.
her a shirt.
She's a
The
succubus.
skirt makes me mad in a similar way
Spooky.
because they literally took an already very revealing outfit and made her more naked when she made the trend.
Did they? Barely, I guess. What the place above her chest is a bit more visible. I feel like this is what is it, making a mountain out of a molehill?
From NPC to playable character. Llama is one of the ones that makes me the saddest because I actually really love the way that she's written in the narrative. Her voice acting is so beautiful and gentle, and I find her quiet strength to be really, really compelling. It just sucks because she would be perfect if she wasn't almost naked.
What? Wait.
Sucks because she would be perfect if she wasn't almost naked.
Come on. Like, say what you will. You can't be like, or let me not say you can't. You gotta admit that a character that's all about being one with nature wouldn't be the most naked. Like, am I crazy in saying that? Like, isn't that kind of the point in a way? Like, somebody who's really in tune with nature would be the character that shows the most skin? Or like, yeah, a druid? Like, Llama's outfit is based on Baltic folklore and mythology, and Llama's race would wear revealing. Yeah, like nature nomads and stuff like that. Like we have revealing outfits because they're one with nature. They would look a little bit more naked. They would look a little bit more naked. Like that's the point. Not the point, but like that's the that's the idea here. That's intentional. Like if this was like if like Yehoda like dressed like this, that'd be weird, right? Or like Nefer dressed like this, like that'd be weird. Or like I'm trying to think of some other characters, like I don't know, freaking what other female characters do we have? Anyway, like if anybody was gonna be more on the naked side, it would be a nature druid, nature nomad, like a character who is in tune with the most with nature. Like if anybody was gonna be a little bit more naked, it would be the character who's was more in tune with nature. Yoda isn't the best example. She even got shit hang. Yeah, you're right. You're right. I couldn't think of an example. Maybe Nefer. I don't know. What's a more recent female character? Yeah, you're right. No, it's not really a good example. Yeah, like Nicole, right? Like if Nicole looked like this, like that would be weird, right? Or like Jubai. Yeah, if Jubai dressed like this, like that'd be also weird. Or like Nefer, you know, or Inefa, right? That'd be weird. But it's like, no, this is a nature nomad. This is a nature druid. Like they're one with nature, which means being a little bit more naked. Like if my point is that I'm not saying that she should be naked. I'm not saying that she should be naked. I'm saying that if you were ever gonna have a character that would show more skin, it would be a character who was one with nature. It would be a character who was one with nature. Anyway. We're almost done.
For Lauma, I don't feel hatred like I do for Veresa because Lauma has good writing to make up for her design. I just feel bad for her. Like, oh my god, you poor woman. You're probably so cold and uncomfortable all the time. Actually, she's named after a creature from Baltic folklore that's traditionally depicted as a nude woman. That is
there you
an
go.
excuse to make a woman with large breasts walk around with a single piece of cloth covering her ass. You can't convince me that Lauma isn't meant to be sexualized by the game when she makes this face while bound by Rayrear. Finally, we have Nefer.
Bro, I mean, again, it's just how it's just how you translate something. If you want to translate it in that way, you can, but you know that is just how you're translating
design
it.
Necessarily, I actually really like the top of it. Her hairstyle is really cool. I love the cape and the vibrant gold and green colors, but it's just another design in this long pattern of just giving up on the leg.
Do it. Say it. Say the thing, and you're not criticizing Hu Tao. Do it.
Of these female character designs. Not only does this white skirt completely blend into her of these female design in this long pattern of just giving up on the legs of these.
Giving up on the legs? What? Showing the whole legs? Wait, but I thought that wait, where is it? Wait, I thought that like Miko was like well designed, even though her entire leg is out.
Part of her personality. Her outfit is also
why? But Miko's entire leg is out, and like Xinyan's entire leg is out. Navia's got that covered up. Or like again, Hu Tao. Like this is what I'm saying, bro. You can say anything about any character. It's just like how you translate. If you want to see these characters in this way, like sure, but it's only because you want to interpret these characters in that way. That's all it comes down to. They're lucky we didn't get these druids. Wait, is this from WoW or something? Yeah, that's a druid too. Yeah. I mean, yeah, game designers have been doing that, but it's only a problem when Genshin does it, I guess.
Really, she's named after a creature, a darker skirt, but on top of it, her hairstyle is really cool.
I got her feet out too. Yeah.
The vibrant gold and green colors, but it's just another design in this long pattern of just giving up on the legs of these female character designs. Not only does this white skirt completely blend into her insanely.
I won't keep posting it until they say anything about it. Of course they won't.
To give her some socks or stockings to balance out these colors or make the design more interesting. Like I really love this fan design.
What the heck? They made her look like a whore. Bro, this is the good art.
That not only gives her a darker skirt, but also some.
Bro, you can't say making Nefer look like a stripper is the good art. This is crazy. They've gone crazy. Is this parody? Am I being baited right now? You can't tell me the Nefer stripper art is the good design. This is crazy. Are you genuine? Wait, this a bit? This has to be a bit. You're crazy.
Like, I really love this fan design. That
What?
Gives her a darker skirt, but also some snake pattern thigh-high socks. I really wish that they had leaned into her snake theming more, as a side note. But alas.
Bro, if Genshin made this design, for sure they would have made a criticism that's like, oh, and to make things work, they tried to make these stockings look like scale, but they just look like fishnets, so they're making her look like a stripper, and she uses her legs. Come on, guys, be serious. You know for a fact they would make that criticism if Hoyo designed it. This has to be rage bait. I'm being baited. I'm being baited right now. This feels more naked than the OG. Yeah, she looks like a stripper. Of course this looks more naked. They made her look like a stripper. Of course. This is crazy. This has to be rage bait.
Socks. I really wish that they had leaned into her snake theming more.
This is crazy, bro.
It's always the same. A super detailed design from the waist up and absolutely nothing except maybe a thigh garter on the legs.
Again, if we're gonna make this criticism, bro, come on, bro. Come on, brother.
Again, Columbina falls into this too. She wears this super detailed, tiny dress. one
I'm
that
gonna
is
keep
so
showing
big,
it.
makes her legs look obscenely long like a spider. And then she doesn't even wear shoes. Just these fuck-ass water orb heels because they couldn't bear to let a woman walk flat on her feet. And the way that these women
A lot of the guys
respond
actually have heels too, which is
sometimes
funny.
so stupid too. Even the character designs that I consider to be better than these suffer from the fan service. Even though I wish her skirt was longer to add some variety to the designs, I really like Mizuki's design. But she literally shows her butt to the camera during her burst, and
I'm gonna keep showing Hu Tao. I'm gonna keep doing it. I'm gonna keep doing it. I'm going to keep doing it.
in her official art. In fact, Hoyo only draws these characters in
I'm
impossible
gonna keep
poses
doing
more and
it.
more for the sake of making them
This
more
is crazy.
viewable.
Like, come
Literally,
on.
Mizuki is posed so you can somehow see her underboob and butt at the same time. They do the same thing with
She's flat.
Maoka.
You can't see her
back is
boobs.
arched so heavily.
Oh,
that
Genshin
she
is
doesn't
better.
display both her cleavage and her ass. Veresa's also the same. Plus,
Oh,
she's
man.
making that face like, "Oh, you caught me, and I have food all over my face. Oh no!" Oh my god.
Why did Moon Goddess wear shoes?
I hated
Question.
saying that out loud. And see, Lali is literally squishing her chest so heavily with.
Bro, it's not that big of a deal, brother. Oh my goodness. See, Lolly is squeezing her boob and you have like 0.2 inches of boob squish. Brother, it's not that big of a deal. Good lord, man. Lisa is literally coming as she like climbs like cliffs and stuff in the Japanese dub. Like, come on, bro. Like, we can't be doing this. We can't be doing this, bro. Jean literally has floppy boobs. She has like we could probably find a clip for that. Jean's blue boobs like flopping in the wind when you hold down her E skill. Jean E skill. Come on. Was like, is there a good camera angle for this? Like, bro, come on. This is 1.0, man. Bro, look at those jumblings go, man. Come on, bro. This has been here, come on, man. Didn't mention Navia AFK voice line either. Yeah, the Navia AFK voice line. Like, bro. Like, oh my gosh, Mona story quest? Like, bro, Mona story quest. Bro, her butt is in half of these. Mona's butt is in half of those cutscenes. Mona's butt is literally in half of these cutscenes during her story quest. But it's fine because it's a 1.0 story quest. Like, come on. It's just a little boob squish. Come on, bro. Mona story quest is infamous. And of course they wouldn't mention it because they're trying to say an argument that's disingenuous. It's just disingenuous.
What? A stuffed animal? A pillow? That is not how this part of the body works. This is only one of the anime fan service tropes that Genshin has increasingly leaned into over time. As the game progresses, we only get more and more characters that fit the tsundere character type. Oh my god, it's over, guys. We only get more and more characters that fit the tsundere character type. Oh my god, I can't fucking say this. As the game
Tsundere?
progresses, we only get
What?
more and more characters that fit the tsundere character type, which I personally find annoying. Lali and Sandrone are the biggest
Okay, well, yeah, and a lot of people like it. Like, what are we saying here? I personally find it annoying. Okay, then that's called personal preference. Get over it.
examples of this, but I would also argue that Escoffier falls into this trope sometimes. Somewhat related is the
Sure, who
characters with active
cares?
crushes or similar devotion to the traveler, all of whom seem to be women, ironically. Ayaka was a big one early on, but since then we've had Mizuki blushing around the traveler and the game purposefully putting her into situations in which we're meant to like cutely embarrass her. It's
Okay, like Lisa, like what are we talking about, bro? Like Lisa, we had Ayaka, like there's so many characters, like every character falls in love with the traveler. Like so many characters. Like, oh, here she is, like Hu Tao also fell in love with the traveler. Like, why is it only a problem now? Like, oh my gosh. Ganyu, I think for a little bit as well. Man. Shao? Bro, you want to see the biggest traveler simp? Bro. Call my name. He literally says, call my name. Simp? If it's Shao simp? Okay, the simp experience. Okay, anyway, if you want to see the biggest traveler stan, it's a guy. It's called Shao. Shenhua, yeah, Shenhua. Bro, like, come on, brother. What are we saying anymore? That's just how Hoyo writes. Hoyo writes the main characters so that everybody obsesses over the main characters. That's just how they write main characters. Like, why is it only a problem now? It's only a problem now because you're burnt out. Because you're burnt out.
teasing romantic.
It's been the
tone to it.
same.
Similarly, Seat Lali has a big crush on the traveler, made evident by being portrayed like this in her Valentine's Day art, and by all the times the game has
What do you mean
been
this?
evident by being portrayed like this in
Women have boobs. What are we doing? Okay, and I guess you're doing the tsundere thing. Yeah, she's a tsundere. Surprise, surprise.
her her Valentine's Day art.
Freaking Hazo was coming. It is. And then like, we don't know, do we need to find the Hazo birthday art? Like, bro, like what are we like? Why are we putting birthday hearts now? Like, bro, come on. What are we saying anymore? What are we saying anymore? What is happening? What arguments are we making anymore?
And by all the time,
I forgot
game
about
has
the
given us
Hazel
very
one.
convenient plot-related ways
Bro,
to read
I'm
each other's
going crazy.
thoughts. Dude, this
I'm going
shit is
crazy.
painful to play. And then most recently we've had Columbina, who again has only one true friend in the Traveler, and she cutely hides behind has only one true friend in the Traveler.
What are we talking about? She literally has a great friendship with Llama, freaking Nefer, bro, Sandrone? Literally Sandrone. Like, are we crazy right now? Bro, brother. Literally look at Columbina and Sandrone. If I look up the words Columbina and Sandrone, how many videos pop up? They literally used this screenshot earlier. What do you mean her only true friend is the Traveler? Like Columbina, Sandrone, Columbina, Lauma. Like, what are we saying right now? There's so many friendships. That's the whole point of like the Lantern Rite thing. Oh, not Lantern Rite. What was it? Moon Prayer Night. That's the whole thing about Moon Prayer Night is that everybody wants to be her friend.
And she cutely hides behind you, and you get to feed
Oh,
her.
man.
Again,
Bro, you already made this
all
point.
very
Can we move on?
romance-coded behaviors.
This is... I'm
The
going
Traveler
crazy.
is literally represented as her savior and dance partner in her trailer. It is a pattern at this point. Can we please let women have more interesting relationships?
I thought you liked that trailer.
Main character than being their shy. And again,
I'm
this
done.
fan service is never equal opportunity.
I'm
The
just
characters never get to have interactions or relationships
speeding
like
to the
this
end.
with the play.
Yes, they did. They had hangouts, especially since there's aren't any hangouts events like this. Like, what point are you making? The other people didn't get to have this as like freaking Noelle, Traveler. As literally as like Noelle and the Traveler have like a romantic like laydown. Like, what are we talking about right now? Like, literally, like, what are we doing? What are we saying? What points are we making here? Like, literally laying down on the grass with a flower in her hand. Like, this has been a thing since day one, brother. This has been a thing since day one. We've been here.
Player. Why not? We also have character-specific tropes. Veresa, I'm getting to you now. She was tailor-made for the feeder fetish. I kid you not, in one of her trailers, they animate food going into her stomach, and her stomach, like, jiggles and stuff, and oh my god.
Yeah. Well, listen, I'm not denying that. But yeah, welcome to Gacha Games. Gacha Games got the checklist. They got to fill the fetish checklist. Like, that's just Gacha Games.
It is genuinely one of the most
We've been here.
uncomfortable things I have seen coming
We've
out of
been
her.
here.
Her entire
Yeah,
film
welcome
is
to
eating
anime.
comically large amounts of food. She has nothing else that matters to her character, to her personality, or anything about her. It's not like this would necessarily be bad on its own, but guys, she is literally a cow. This character is extremely insulting, and I hate her. And that's not even mentioning how she literally fights by falling on her ass. When you are playing her, she will fall and her ass.
You've said this argument before. She's a luchador. Those are lucha moves. Those are wrestling moves.
She gets up, and your eye is naturally drawn there because of her bright pink tail against her black skirt. And then when she gets up, she'll like dust herself off and be like, "Owie, that hurt! Shut up!" Ugh. And then we've got Nefer and her whole like clones thing, and the clones are like her servants, and she poses with them in sexually charged ways, like she's holding this one's face.
Yeah, okay, sex appeal exists. Can we move on? Like, oh, surprise, surprise. Welcome to Gacha Games. Like, this has been here. Why are people acting like Genshin was some Puritan game or something? And that, like, suddenly got infested with sex. Like, bro. Genshin's been doing... Again, I'm going to show Hu Tao again. I'm going to keep showing Hu Tao. I'm going to keep showing Hu Tao. Yeah, she's a femme fatale. Yeah, like, I'm so confused. Like, why are we pretending that Genshin used to be, like, this Puritan game? It's been having sex appeal since day one.
And this one is laying in her lap. Like, I don't have to like spell out the way that this is incredibly fetishistic, right? I mean, Nefer literally.
Yeah,
does
that's
the strip
yeah, sure, it's fetish stuff, but like that's been a thing.
her
Welcome
crawl
to Gacha
across
Games.
toward the camera in her trailer. She's meant to give femdom, and I mean, like the clones basically serve no purpose to her theming as a character. I think they could have taken them out of her whole thing, and it wouldn't have made a difference to her kit or to her gimmicks. They literally only did it because they knew people would roll over it.
Yes. And they've been doing that. Why is it magically a problem now? why is Lisa like the freaking One-san like type character that always fawns over you and calls you cutie? Like, yeah, we've been here. Why is Fischl like a Shinobu? Like, we've been here. Like, why why aren't we complaining about Fischl like pretending to be a character like no matter what, and she even had a story talking about that, and then she's still a Shinobu or whatever, however you say that. Like, why are we comparing about Fischl in that way? Because Fischl is heavily gimmicked. Like, what are we doing here? Why aren't we talking about the fact that like Guching and Ganyu are like obsessed with work, and that's like their only character trait and things like that? Like, why aren't we complaining about any of that? Like, bro, because they're old characters. That's why. That's why we're not complaining about them, because they're old characters. Oh man, I'm going crazy. Bro.
Editing Aurelia here. In the process of making this
Was the
video,
Eula mention?
Linnea has
Eula too. Yeah, true.
and-
Eula was the number one tsundere. Yeah, true. What are we talking about? Where are we gonna talk about Eula, the number one tsundere? Gonna take revenge on you.
I just
Linnea?
have to interject to say, what the fuck were they thinking with this character? I feel like a crazy person because I feel like I'm the only one who doesn't think she's adorable and in fact recognizes her for the creepy freak that she is. First of all, she clearly has absolutely no respect for living things that are not traditionally human. She keeps asking to touch and pet the Melusines as if they are not whole people.
This friendly exchange played the line next time. Try asking her finally.
It's especially creepy because the Melusines are made to look like children. Having an adult character who is highly obsessed with them and can't treat them as the people they are was a fucked up move on Hoyo's part. They literally make a point to emphasize the humanity of the Melusines and how they had to fight to be accepted in Fontanian society.
Where's Amber's thighs? The first character in the game too. Oh, true. Where's Amber? Hold on. There you go. Amber had cheek too, back in her uncensored outfit. She also showed cheek, technically. Did she just disrespect Linnea while I exist? To be fair, I don't know too much about Linnea, but I highly doubt it's as bad as
who
she's
we are
saying.
supposed to think is cute, harassing them and treating them as though they are pets. It's disgusting. Her trailer is sickening for the same reason. She fantasizes about being rubbed up on by Siegeween, who, again...
Rubbed up on? What? No, they're like cats. What? Rubbed up on? What the hell? Hello?
She fantasizes about being rubbed up on by...
No, they're like cats. Like, imagine, like, there's cats here too. What? I'm so confused. What? Rubbed up on? Why are we making this sexual? No, it's like being surrounded by cats at like a cat cafe or something. That's why one of them is a cat. That's why there's cats here. She's like thinking of it as like being surrounded by like cats at a cat cafe.
By Siegeween, who, again, looks like a child. And Kirida, along with other Melusines and Nekomata.
Is that her disrespecting Linnea? I want to
extremely
cry. This is
fetishistic to
crazy.
me, which is a problem when the people that she's fantasizing about look like children. She chases these people around and doesn't seem to let up after being told multiple times to back off. There are multiple promotional materials in which she
This is
asks
crazy,
to
bro.
touch a Melusine,
Cuteness aggression
which
doesn't
is-
exist in the just cuteness
I think that
aggression.
has happened more than
It's just
once
this dumb character gimmick.
twice. I mean, at least her character quest wasn't as bad. I won't spoil it, obviously, because I said I wouldn't talk about content past Luna 5, but I still don't find this character appealing or compelling at all, as I feel like I've made it very clear. She doesn't even have an interesting design to make up for it. She's literally just a copy-paste of Charlotte. Even the wish art is the same makeup for it.
Really? Not even the backpack that you can literally change? Come on. Send me the video. I need to show a friend. Sure. Yeah, this is crazy. My first impression of this video has not changed, by the way. I'm going to say it again. I think this is a video made by some person who has been burnt out of Genshin after 6 years of playing it straight. And instead of being like, hey, I'm burnt out, I need a break from this game, or I just want to stop playing this game, they're trying to justify it by pretending that these are objectively good criticisms about the game and not just like, hey, I personally don't like this. That's the problem. That's the problem, is that this is clearly from a person who is just burnt out, but they're trying to translate it in a way of just like, hey, I'm making objectively true statements. When it's like, okay, are you really?
She's literally just a copy-paste of Charlotte. Even the wish art is the same. I haven't felt such a burning hatred.
Alright, I
for
wanna
her
hurry
in
up and
a long
finish this.
time. Hoyoverse had the opportunity to portray Linnea as a character with a disability that made it difficult for her to fit in, because that was largely the reason the myth of changelings arose in the first place. The fairies were thought to swap their fey children for a human child, which was how several mythologies explained neurodivergence in children. Instead of portraying a really heartwarming story about a character who's autism-coded, we instead get a freak who can't stop harassing anyone with non-human features. Ironic, considering how they want to portray her as an outcast who had no friends because she was a fey who looked different. Also, can we talk about how her lore makes no sense because the Sarisa and the Fatui are meant to be hunting down fey and eradicating them, hence why Flynn's hides his identity. But it's just completely fine that Linnea is outwardly a fey, perhaps even more obviously so than Flynn's because she doesn't cover the wings on her head or her crystal markings. Whatever. I really hope people open their eyes to how
I don't know. They're going crazy, bro. They're going crazy.
Sorry if you feel kinship with her. She's not cute. She is not funny. She has no appealing character traits, and there are far better.
He is not as crazy. I think again, the mask is slipping. You know what I mean? I think the mask is slipping again a little bit when it comes. It's like I feel like Linnea triggered the like this is my true opinion type thing. Like when you start saying like, oh, this character is not, this character is not, when it's so very clearly like, hey, this is just my opinion, that's when you know it's bad. I feel like that's when you know it's bad. Listen, if you have these opinions and this is how you personally feel and you don't personally like these things, that's fine, but let's not pretend that it's objective fact when it's clearly not.
Characters out there whose stories are about yearning for acceptance. Anyway, back to the video. Before we move on to the last part, I feel the need to debunk something I've heard both in this fandom and in other fandoms with regards to sexualized character designs. She should be able to wear whatever she wants. It's feminist to let women express themselves how they want. Listen, I choose to believe that this argument isn't made in bad faith. It's more like people who say this have good intentions, but they don't understand what it is that they're actually saying. Yes, it's true that women in real life should be able to choose what they wear. If they want to wear revealing clothing, that is completely their choice. However, these women are not real and do not have the autonomy that we do. They are purposefully manufactured to be bait for the male gaze. They are animated in revealing outfits and drawn in uncomfortable poses and written into compromising situations on purpose. These
I mean, I guess, bro. But that hasn't changed. I feel that hasn't changed, bro. Like Honkai 3, I can pull up Honkai 3 as well, like, bro, I guess, but it's just like, why is it a problem now? It's my only thing. Why is it a problem now? They still didn't talk about Hu Tao, by the way. They still didn't talk about Hu Tao.
Developers have control over how these women are portrayed, and they choose to portray them increasingly as vessels for hypersexualization, fetishization, and fan service. That is not feminist. That's not to say that HoYoverse doesn't do this in their other games. Zenless Zone Zero comes to mind, but to me, at least, that game is honest about what it is, and it has been since the beginning. Boob physics, and maid outfits, and schoolgirl uniforms and all. At least over there, the fan service is a little more equally spread across the male and female characters. Genshin Impact still pretends that it's this grand world of exploration it was 4 years ago, while its writing and characters suffer. Expect visual upgrades like you've never seen before, all while...
Yeah, again... I'll say the big argument at the end.
Because who gives a shit about them, right? Or as we increase the shill for pay-to-win players, or for Million Wonderland, which no one fucking asked for, and no
I love how they're complaining. It's so funny. Obviously, this video was made, what is it, 2 weeks ago? I think one of the best teams right now has like 2 4-stars in it. I think with like, it's what, Sandrone, Miko, who is an older character, by the way. Sandrone, Miko, and then what, like Sucrose, and like depending on who comes out next, like there's plenty of free-to-play teams.
Or for
Also, did they put Raiden?
The shit about them, right? Or as we increase the...
Yeah, like also, by the way, this team needed a C2 Raiden. I just want to point that out.
The shill for pay-to-win players.
And that wasn't even the top DPS at the time. Raiden wasn't even top DPS at the time at C0.
No one fucking asked for and no one cares about. And for hyper-specific gameplay mechanics that are incredibly team limiting and rely on 2 or 3 limited characters to actually function. Oh, while we continually are limiting.
I love how half of these teams have 4-stars in it, and they're trying to make the point that like, oh, this is a shill. literally half these teams have a 4-star.
And rely on 2 or 3 limited characters to actually function. Oh, while we continually offer less and less new map areas and free wishes each patch. I could go on forever about the state of this fucking game and how HoYoverse doesn't... I think that's enough of that for now. Let's move on. After all this complaining, people are probably thinking, it sounds like this game is causing you lots of undue stress. Maybe you should just quit and play something else.
Yes, you are burnt out. You're burnt out.
Look, maybe you don't get what it feels like to invest 5 years of your life into a game like this.
I do, and that's why I can tell you're burnt out. And you're trying to be, and you're making disingenuous arguments because you're just burnt out.
This, with ever-expanding lore and new characters being introduced all the time. I guess maybe I didn't know what I was getting myself into at the time, back in 1.0 when I first started out. It sucks to invest so much of your time into a game only for it to let you down.
It's not letting you down, you're just burnt out. If you eat pizza every day, you're gonna get tired of pizza. Does that make pizza objectively bad? No, that just means you got burnt out off of pizza. Not to say that you can't criticize pizza, but obviously your arguments are being heavily influenced by the fact that you're burnt out. You're burnt out.
I'm not gonna pretend that Genshin was perfect back then. There are so many weird, like, cop-outs that HoYo pulls so that they can have sensitive themes in their games but not actually have them. Like Bennett saying that he has multiple dads, only for you to realize that it's because he's been raised by many older men in the Adventurers Guild, not because he has queer parents. But the problems have only gotten worse with time. There are even more cop-outs, like Flynn's.
Wait, why is that a problem? What, huh?
But the problems have only gotten...
That's not a cop-out. He's raised by multiple dads. Those are queer parents. I guess not queer parents. If they're saying that, like, the parents themselves are not in a relationship, okay, I guess that's fair.
Worse with
whatever.
There are even more cop-outs, like Flynn's being a victim of suicidal ideation, but, like, he actually just went sleepy for a really long time. Or like Nicole, who is mute in name only. She just talks in people's heads using her magic, so HoYo can pretend that they have a character with a disability. Or like Nefer, experiencing racism at the hands of the academia, while having the palest skin you could possibly imagine. Regarding gameplay...
Yeah, I mean...
Academia, while having the palest skin you could possibly imagine.
I guess, I don't know.
As I said, the shill for current characters has only gotten worse with time, with boss enemies made specifically to be defeated by certain limited characters. Fontaine was the first region to introduce region-specific battle mechanics. Bond of Life...
But they made theater where you can use every single other old character, like... Sure, like a lot of bosses have become shield, but have you met theater? And did you also know theater is the mode where you can get the most primo? And did you know that in theater you can make a lot weaker builds and you can take a shared character? And it has the most primo of any Hoyo endgame mode ever, not just Genshin. Of course, we're not going to mention it because it's not going to help your argument. But come on, man. Ugh. I think this is the problem, right? I think this is a problem I have when people make arguments is they just make the negative arguments and they don't think about any of the positives. And so that when they make those negative arguments, it can be dismantled so easily and so quickly because you didn't even consider the positives about it. You can make a very strong argument, but to make a very strong argument, you got to talk about the negative and the positive, or it just sounds like you're just a hater or you're heavily biased, which this person obviously is.
But it wasn't so completely baked into the combat like Night Soul or Lunar reactions are. You didn't need Bond of Life or Pneumocia to beat anything in the game, but the Lord of Eroded Primal Fire weekly boss requires a character who can apply Night Soul damage.
Well, no, that's not true. I don't. Why would they use this as an example? That's just not true. of all bosses to talk this about, and they talk about the character like no, you. This is like one of the biggest fights where you definitely don't need that. If your characters are weaker and the fight keeps going on, maybe it's gonna feel like you need that, but no, you can just kill him.
Primal Fire weekly boss requires a character who can apply Night Soul damage. The game before the gate is built for quick application of the Frozen reaction, which is the specialty of Skirk and his Coffee. It's unfair to people.
Well, you could just use cryo, like what? You could just use like Kaya, and like any cryo character, like Chongyun, as you're using in this video. And Chongyun's my only. Yeah, the fact that you could use him, like that disables your argument. It's like, yeah, like, oh my goodness, I have to use cryo. It's like, yeah, cryo. It can be any cryo. Like, it's not a big deal. I swear.
Reaction. Which is it's unfair to people who aren't looking to pull every single character, like me, because I only pull characters I like, or free-to-play people who aren't looking to spend what could easily be hundreds of dollars on filling out their 5-star roster, also like me, because I don't have that kind of disposable income.
Dude, theater is right there, I
Seeing
swear.
Flynn's in that Nodcry teaser was a lifesaver for me. Holy shit, a beautiful 5-star man with a mysterious backstory who's actually part of the meta, and oh my god, Lowen too. That face card is diabolical. It's been so long since I've been excited about characters like this. Most of the time now, I'm just like, well, Nicole's not my favorite, but I guess I'll pull for her in the future if I have no other characters I want. Or, well, Lama's design is pretty terrible, but I like her personality a lot. I guess I could get her if I have enough extra primo gems. So yeah, that's a lot of flaws. But guess what, guys? Hoyoverse fucking got me. Almost 6 years ago now, Hoyoverse wormed its way into my brain and put my mind in a Genshin Impact-shaped chokehold. At this point, I have so many mixed emotions about
this video is pure rage bait, too many holes, and then saying that the fan art was good when she criticized other female designs for less. That was crazy. I can't believe she said the one with the fishnet stockings that made her look like a stripper was good.
Its fan base.
That was crazy to me. That was the most crazy to me.
I love the sense of humor that so many of these fans have. I love some of these characters so much, and thinking about them is so much fun. But sometimes I feel like the only sane person in any given comment section on the internet. Like, I'm the only person who sees this game for what.
This has to be rage bait. I'm the only sane one. Out of all the millions of people that play Genshin Impact, only I'm sane. Like, what? It's either rage bait or you are literally the most arrogant person of all human history. Yes, you are the only sane person out of the million. The rest of us are brainwashed. I can't. This video opened my eyes. This video, before this, I was brainwashed by Hoyoverse until your video came and saved me. What do you mean? I'm the only sane person. What do you mean? You're crazy. That is literally the words of either the craziest person out there or like the most arrogant person of all time. It's the most arrogant I feel that is the most arrogant statement you can make, right? Of all human history. That is the most arrogant statement you make, is that I'm the only sane person. That's crazy. I can't believe they said that. I can't believe they said that.
Them is so much fun. But sometimes I feel like the only sane person in any given comment section on the internet. Like, I'm the only person who sees this game for what it has become. People just refuse to.
I'm the only sane person to see this game for what it's become. No, I think it's more so that you're burnt out. It's arrogant as hell. It's crazy.
It's a fandom and a community that I sometimes feel like I don't belong to. Like, I should have left it a long time ago, and yet I can't stop playing it. Maybe it's an addiction, or maybe it's FOMO thinking about the upcoming characters I want to get in the future. Maybe I find the gameplay engaging. But also,
no, you're burnt out, but you feel like you've spent so much time that you don't want to leave.
Really,
only Narc. Yeah, there you go. She's a pure narcissist. That is the most narcissistic statement you can ever make. Arrogant and narcissistic. That is the most narcissistic statement you could ever make.
Time goes on. I think Genshin set up a very strong emotional core with the missing sibling, and they strung us along just enough that I was invested, giving us hints of the sibling only a little at a time, all culminating in a quest called Bedtime Story a couple years ago, which is one of the only Genshin quests that's ever made me cry. I want to see the traveler reunited with their twin at the end of this journey. I want to explore Snezhnaya and Conria. Even though Alice's design ended up being a little copy-paste, I adore her, and I want to pull her and put her in a team with Klee and Durin. I want to see Dainslift become playable and hopefully introduce a new element into the gameplay. Who knows? Maybe Genshin will continue to disappoint me. Maybe there are no good villains left to meet, and maybe a playable woman in a freezing cold climate will be wearing a bikini. I'm still gonna be pissed about that. But it's quests like Durin's story quest, a beautiful tale of the devotion of motherhood and learning to make your own way in life, that give me very cautious optimism. I know that Hoyo is capable of amazing storytelling. That's what makes it so frustrating. Every time this game lets me down. But Hoyo, you've still got me for a while. Nice going, you made me addicted to your game, but the good stuff is what makes me want to stick around
Jesus,
for a while.
bro.
Even if only to watch my favorite little guys run around in my screen.
Is that it? Am I free? Okay. All right. Let me sum up this video very, very simply. I'm gonna sum up this video very simply. This video, was Genshin always this weird and bad? Okay. This is what this video is. It's very simple. Clearly this person has been playing Genshin for a long time, 6 years, as they said themselves, and they are burnt out. They are burnt out. They probably need to take a break or like step away from the game a little bit. Whether they want to or not, obviously it's up to them. But what's happening is they're justifying their burnt outness via arguments that really don't hold water or are heavily biased, right? Are heavily biased and are not indicative of like actual, solid criticisms that can hold objective fact. And at the same time also saying, I can't believe I'm the only sane person and I can't believe I'm the only person that sees this, right? So they're also a narcissist as well, unfortunately, or at least bare minimum very arrogant. And I think that's all this video is at the end of the day. Haki, just quit the game, bro? Yeah. Probably should quit, yeah. Or just like, listen, like, you can quit and just watch the cutscenes on YouTube, Or you can just like quit, come back when Shneznai is out, explore it for a little bit, and then just watch the cutscenes on YouTube. Yeah, it's just bad faith arguments. It's just heavily biased. It's just, these are how I feel about it. And again, I'm not saying you can't feel that way. Not at all, right? If she wants to feel this way about this game, more power to you. Absolutely more power to you. But listen, you can't pretend these are objective facts, right? Okay. I never truly liked the male gaze argument because I find it misogynistic in itself. Just because a woman character doesn't fit the way you think a woman should look or act, therefore it must be male gaze, since I don't agree with it. Yeah, that's fair. I can see that. I can't speak too much on it because I'm a guy, but I can see that. I'm gonna say that sometimes that women characters can't be outrageous and very much for sex appeal, but that's rarely the case for Genshin. There are far more worse gacha games. Right, and I think, that's such a good point too. And I think a huge point is that clearly, they said this is their first gacha game. Clearly they don't know, like, gacha games in general, right? We can pull up even Nikkei, right? I feel like Nikkei is like the one people know the most. Bro, literally Nikkei characters, like, as they're shooting in their normal gameplay, like, are showing you their butts and things like that. Like, if I look up Nikkei gameplay, like, it would just be a character. Here we go. If I look up Nikkei gameplay, it's literally a character shaking their butt at you. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and I think this is the unfortunate kind of reality of just like Genshin being as big as it was. Is that, this is people's first taste into like gacha games and things like that, and there just is a certain like thing you gotta like anticipate or expect and things like that when it comes to these type of games. And it's like, hey, you're just not used to that or whatever, or what have you. It's very interesting to see misogynistic women call the game misogynistic, especially whatever the heck she was spouting about that Linnea. I don't even know what that whole Linnea argument was about. I don't even. Yeah, that Linnea argument is like, I wish I was a bigger Linnea fan so I could dismantle that one a lot better. Like, I know this Linnea argument is hyper disingenuous. I just don't know the specific details for it just because I haven't really been into Linnea that much myself, Just leave the game for a few months. That should help. Yeah, keep playing. The game won't help her. Is there anything it's going to be worse for her mental? Yeah, I agree. I think just take a break and like watch the cutscenes on YouTube. That's fine. Autistic creepy predator. Like, what are we even talking about? Like, yeah, what are we talking? I don't. Yeah, like saying like Linnea is like a creepy predator. Like, I don't. That was really bad. I wish I was a Linnea fan so I could dismantle that one a lot better, but it's just weird. Even as a non-Linnea fan, I'm like, this is weird. It's just weird, bro. This is just so weird. Yeah. Well, that was a video. Though. I guess at the very least, it's a good talking point. All right, I'm gonna see the comments. See what these comments are saying. Don't obey some cause fallacy. It's okay to stop investing more of your time into something you don't enjoy anymore, regardless of other people. Yeah, exactly. Okay, even the comments are like, okay, clearly you're just burnt out here, and you're making disingenuous arguments. Fatui, fly high to Torre. The Genshin TikTok syndrome has affected YouTube Soldiers Retreat. Me quitting Genshin after the Natlin video feels like getting on the last chopper at it. Yeah, like if you want to quit, that's fine. The winter will burn bright and the lower must turn to ash. No gladiator replied is crazy at the Natlin trailer. Whoa! Columbina was an angel who kept her physical form by trading her eyes, similar to how she kept. Again, you just have headcanons, and the headcanons wasn't met. Like, yikes. If you see Linnea stuff as fetishistic content, that's more of a problem with you. Wait, hold on. If you see Linnea's stuff as fetish and sexual content, that's more a problem with you over them showing her being obsessed with cute things that she's not seen before. Nobody saw that video and thought that. That's what I'm saying. Like, how did you see that scene with Linnea and you're thinking like, oh, this is like a sexual thing? Like, no, it's like a cat cafe. Or is it not appearing now? Yeah, it's supposed to be like a cat cafe thing, and there's little cats there. Like, if they had to show it to you even more that it's literally about cats, they literally put cats here at the bottom. They're supposed to be cats. It's like being cuddled by cats. It's cats. Like what? Linnea part was a stretch. Holy. Okay, yeah. People are calling her out for the Linnea one. Same animation, the dialogue for 6 whole years. Valid, valid, valid. When they rerun some characters, I feel that fan use theories as can. Oh, here we go. If I hear another person use fan theories and headcanon as why Columbine is bad, I'm generally gonna go insane. It's such a dog excuse. And I'm gonna test the Linnea argument because what the was that? Yeah. About my friends and family, what the hell? Yeah, I mean, if you think it's cheesy, that's fair. But like, yeah, it's just cheesy. This is a surprise, surprise. Friendship and family is gonna be cheesy. I understand why they didn't give the characters story and sidekicks like Lion Gaming as part of their kit. It had tied to themes of the region, way more immersive and interesting. Sure, right. Yeah, that's fair. I think that's a fair argument. Being the solution. I can't stand the refusal to appeal any stakes. The entirety of Fontaine was actually flooded and had no lasting environmental effects at all. Valid, valid, valid. There's comments are kind of up and down. What's about Dottore, Senor, and Capitano is that in case of emergency funds, a break glass scenario, vagueness of open for them to come back. Yeah. Genshin fan has fought two parasols for the precious waifus humbands to be evil. They really can't handle it. I don't disagree with that. That's valid. That's valid. Every time I feel this burning urge to return to Genshin, I observe a community from far and urge disappears. You know, it's bad. Nene Ascension is reaching to me. She harasses non-human girls. Feels like you don't even take the time to research the character, nor does that mischaracterize her. She isn't a freak. She's overly curious about cat-eared and Nekomimi people. Not a fan either, but does that harass Paimon Wish told you? I don't get where this autistic coded comes from either. Just because a character has quirks doesn't make them autistic. Some of the stuff in this video I agree with, while others I'm side-eyeing a little. My eyes all the way on the side. Linnea is genuinely wild. You just point out being guy by as autistic. Yeah. Crazy. Anyway, they had to give an honorable mention to their fetish or something that Linnea won because what? It was so off course. I think the mask slips a couple times in this video for sure. I think the mask slips a couple times. And that's why I'm saying what I'm saying, right? I think at the end of the day, it's literally just I'm burnt out from this game and I don't enjoy it as much as I do anymore, but I'm trying to justify my unenjoyment. And it's like that's cool for you, but that's cool for you. Wait, why did you send me the video? Oh, it's like timestamps or something? I was like, why did you send me the video again? Oh no, it's just a video. Oh no, here we go.
Humanity of the Melusines and how they had
Melusine stay in the military. Oh, the Melusine stuff. Yeah, the Linnaeus stuff was wild. Oh, comments. Oh, okay. Wait, did you send me a link to the comments? Let's get a link to just the video.
Before we begin, please be aware that
I could make an argument that I think it's kind of weird that her avatar is kind of dressed up as a schoolgirl, but we're not going to make that argument because I'm not going to personally attack them. I'm checking. Oh, if you scroll down. Okay, okay. Oh, highlighted comment. Okay. Here we go. Oh, I didn't know you could do that with YouTube links. Your take with Linnea is legitimately disgusting. I speak with myself, not speaking for everyone with autism. The way you speak about her is downright appalling. Oh my god. Damn. Instead of a girl learning to love with stories about creatures, mostly in Paimon, her opinion of the character generally saying what are some despicable words should be not used entirely as a fictional character of all things. Yeah, the Linnea stuff was like really bad. It's pretty bad.
Before we begin,
This is pretty bad. Here we go. As a woman myself, you seriously need to get offline. It is abundantly clear that you're extremely hypocritical on what is moral and what not to do with character designs and behavior. Many lore, story, or narrative complaints you had were just straight up hyperbolic and nitpicks are wrong. Yeah, good point. Good point. Yeah, most of those criticisms were just nitpicks, not even good criticism. None of them was like really that good criticisms. Yeah, very hyperbolic as well. Many playable characters in the game are morally gray, and important to know that CN law actually stops Hoyo from having playable, unredeemable monsters. I don't know how true that is. CN law stops Hoyo from having playable, evil, unredeemable. I don't know how true that is. All those poses are not only possible to do, but easy. You can't do them themselves. See a doctor. Holy crap. This fan video is 20% valid points, and 20%, I don't know about that. 50% chronically online person complaining about their game isn't their Yuri Yaoi fanfics. Damn, they're okay. They're hitting the nail on the head there in this one. And 30% narcissistic, thinking that everyone else is wrong and thinking that, yes, this is what I think this most video is mostly about. It's a narcissist thinking that everybody else is wrong and they're the only one that's right. Yeah, that's my takeaway. Don't ever call yourself a feminist while calling a woman that. Absolutely disgusting. Oh, shit. Somebody with common sense, she's not a feminist. In fact, I feel like she said low-key misogynistic, and I'm glad I'm the only one who caught on to that. I felt like I was going crazy. I understand people criticizing, feeling more like chronically online person just venting and whining rather than valid arguments and points. Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah. A person who's burnt out just whining and complaining about the things they don't personally like because they're burnt out or they just don't enjoy
before we
particular
begin,
things.
please be aware
The way you speak about women. Oh, Jesus, a whole freaking paragraph. There's a whole freaking paragraph here. The way you speak about women throughout this video genuinely makes me want to throw up, and I say it as a woman myself, literally never interact with the Genshin community again. It would be happier with people. The Hoyo Fair video is a head canon fan interpretation based on what we knew at the time. The Winter Night Lazo is the only canonical information of the voice lines that we had to release. To address Child's voice line, of course, he said that about somebody who looks like an angel, delicate, yes, has such high ranking. Capitano Dottore have had high rankings because one's a clone and the original who found immortality, and the other is the strongest human alive. Incapacitated because he's stuck there throwing a Natlin. Bet your hate from that shows a Natlin are not little used for compensation to prevent events. Also, he's alive. It is canonical that he's alive. He just cannot move from the throne. Yes. Also, pre-AQ Columbina was already in a weakened state, which you would know if you consider the not correct cause because you hated it, right? Damn, this person's roasting them. Holy crap. You said Ragnarok for the people who played the original Grand Blue? That's the DLC. That's the DLC. Yeah, I think when you're buying the game, which one did you want? Do you need to buy if you're? Yeah, if you get the all-in-one, then you get the DLC and the original game. To address Scar's voice line, he's willing to challenge her, but he says he wouldn't approach her because he senses something in her that we sensed in him, basically saying, you with your conscience would try to save her in the same way we did for him in Sumeru. If you join Sumeru so much, you'd be able to pick up the parallels making between our relationship, Traveler and Scaramouche, and the relationship we end up having with Columbine through the adventure quest, taking her from the Vitui organization using her own power and helping her restore her power and her home to the moon. People thought Hoyo had zero obligation to play into those thoughts and fan interpretations of a character before the release, but all that means your theory was wrong, and that's okay. Yeah. This person's spitting. I have no theory. Venti is an angel. He's a god with wings too. They look almost the same. It's how stupid you sound. Can Moon Goddess not have wings or something? Yeah. That's Aurora's dress. It's Hoyo had zero input there. Probably a coincidence on Aurora and the studio's part. Oh, yeah, the singer thing. Yeah, that's what they picked. Yeah. Yeah, she is cooking. She's cooking her. So many playable morally great characters, most notably the Traveler. Yeah, the Traveler kills. I forgot to mention that. I really should have mentioned that. The Traveler kills a lot of people. If we're talking about morally gray characters, the Traveler is very morally gray. They're very heroic, but they have killed a lot of people. The Traveler's killed a lot of people. Who did horror things before? Lene, Fermine, Lohan. Lenny, Lynette, Fermine, Lohan, Raiden, Zhongli, Venti, Nahida, Farina, Nivelette, Malvika, adding on to the Saritsa. Did you forget the boss fight exists? And while the harbingers, save for Columbina, liked us at first glance, that's because the travelers' friends does not mean that they actually do understand the organization. And yet again, how you speak about women throughout this video is disgusting. I'm shocked. Secondly, yes, the Moon Prayer fan service may have been slightly excessive, but your mockery is in no way addresses it. Yeah, the mockery just doesn't add to it at all. It's really bad. Immediately discrediting your chart because you conveniently removed the 4 stars from it and thought we wouldn't notice. I would also prefer if the stats were total characters in a region, not version release, as you're totally misleading. Of course, 1.0 is going to have an even more split at the very beginning of the game. We had like 20 characters released in 1.0. Out of 20 characters, 12 are female, 11 are male. Even if you didn't consider Nicole Monstadian. 52% women, pretty even, I say. Leo out of 22 characters, 16 are female, 16 are male, 72. Oh, that's a good point. I didn't even think about that. The whole male-female split thing. That's a good point. Yeah, even Leeway, he was like misaligned. Llama is one of the few revealing characters that actually makes sense. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't even know where you're coming from. She was inspired by fertility goddess from Baltic culture. She's wearing culturally significant priestess of clothing. Others say it has to do with her ability to shapeshift, transform into a deer and centaur. You're insane. Even look at it, I can admit it's a little revealing. I'm not even excusing it from the lore. I like riding Shogun. She's my favorite. Yo, base. And I admit there's a bit of fan service in her to say, oh yeah, for sure. Referring to her skirts in the game, that makes me vomit. I hate that you use the term. It's frankly nauseating that you call it that way. Xinyan's quest quite literally says that she wants to stand out from Liuan's I'm crying. You literally don't read it all. The Golden Alpha also emphasized that in her section. Your feminism has nothing to do with not crying. You're heavily reaching. I'm sorry to take sympathy back. The way you describe Navi has really unnerved me. Sluttier. Are you serious right now? Sluttier? You make me want to puke. You're sounding like a rad femme, and I see a lot of those. Holy crap. The trailers use a lot of indirect characterization. You can tell by your previous that you're not good at understanding that, so I don't blame you. I do concede from Avika. I can't defend that one. Revisiting Llama once again, she's also thinking about the fact that she turns into a freaking deer centaur. About Columbina's shoes, it would be fine to let her walk flat, but also she doesn't really walk anymore. She basically glides. It's a little different. That's true too. Yeah, Columbina doesn't even use the water shoes. She's gliding through the ground. Essentially soft flying. Other situation, I think having heels would be better for the character, but obviously here's is the most egregious in my Shout out to Verasa for being one of the characters with no heels. Oh yeah. CLI's new outfit also has no heels. I don't know if I can criticize Mizuki's pose like that solely because she's a fantasy character. She's not human. She may have a humanoid body, but you're flexible enough to show you that position is not very possible for us. Obviously standing, we can't float. She can. Whoever understands that. If Verasa's pose is uncomfortable physically for you, I'm sorry, that's a you problem. I physically could stand up. Help Verasa's pose with little effort. I think most people can too. Your tone is sounding more mocking or envious rather than any having real based information to support some pretty decent points in the game state. I don't know how you say that there's no male chemistry when Lao, Linny, Wandering. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I said that too when I was watching it. Like, yeah, like Lao, Xiao is a huge traveler simp. Linny, of course, the Wanderer, yeah. Very clearly, Ayaka and Celia, the females that we've seen. I don't see Columbina's suspicion as travelers or savior in a romantic fight, not at all. Columbina, which is in a very weakened, mostly friendless and insecure state, prior to the traveler doing everything in their power to help her regain her own power and go back to the moon. That's why she sees them as a true friend. And really, a lot of your Mitsuki criticisms are leaning more into romance coded far too much. Yeah. I've been focusing on Verasa eating. She literally eats because she trains. She's a wrestler. Are we gonna? That's like, oh man, that's such a good. I didn't mention it. Like, yeah, okay, Verasa eats a lot. You know who else also eats a lot in like fiction? Bro, are we gonna complain about Goku next, bro? If we want to talk about like eating stuff or like fetish stuff or whatever, bro, are we gonna talk about that with Goku? Goku is like the king of the like Goku and Luffy, right? They're the king of doing that. Are we gonna complain about these characters now? That is such a good point. Holy crap, I didn't even think about that. That is such a good point. Once again, the ass falling animation is Lucha Libre. Yep, you addressed that time, whatever. Just shut up. Definitely came from the soul. Like, yeah, like, come on. The butt stuff is Lucha Libre stuff. Why are you projecting shit like fetishes and stripper crawl into places that happen to see that makes you look so yucky? That whole Linnea rant, I'm not even going to bother addressing it. How did you manage to miss every single trait that you were looking for and call her a freak? Call a pixel woman a freak over a trait she absolutely shows if she's supposed to be portrayed as autistic. Not even fetish size. Why is the first thing you think of a sexual fetish? That's very telling about you as a person. Holy crap. Day by day, you sound more like a turf. I'm sorry I had the inconvenience to come across your video. Good riddance in the Genshin community. I'm so sorry I had to edit this. Once again, to talk about your automity comment. You recognize that they're not real. So then how and why are you so pressed about their designs? They're not real. Go be an activist for real for women rather than being a couch activist for a notably better than most in the Sphere Gacha game just because it's popular. It's so true. You can pull up any like actually like sexually charged gacha game, right? Like Nikkei like Brown Dust 2, right? There's so many gacha games that like the Genshin fans would look at that and shudder. Genuinely, you're just hating the game for being a gacha game. I don't think you love the game anymore, and you really should quit. Based, 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 based. Spitting. You're spitting. Spitting. Yeah. Crazy, man. That's craziness. Genshin has the floor of being problematic with designs. Yeah, like if we're looking at a whole room called problematic and there's a chair in the room, Genshin is like what? Like sitting on a stool. It's not even sitting on the chair. Genshin is sitting on the stool. Genshin, like sometimes Genshin will have fan service, but barely, bro. But barely, bro. Nah, it's really not that much. Kirby, look out. Kirby's naked. Kirby's got to cover up. Whew, crazy. Genshin, my first gacha game. Video. Yeah, Genshin is my first gacha game. I'm burnt out. That just is what this video is. Genshin is my first gacha game. I'm burnt out, and I'm trying to justify me being burnt out. It's just like, no, bro, you're just burnt out. You're just burnt out. You're just burnt out, man. Whew, that video was longer than I thought it would be. We delved deep. We delved deep. I don't know which one I dislike more. This one or the Raiden Shogun one. I think the Raiden Shogun one might be worse. Just because I like Raiden so much. But this was pretty bad. Whew. What's your first experience with anime? It might be. It might be. It's long, but it was mostly dismantling the BS arguments. Yeah, definitely. That was a journey. That was a journey.